This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The government to move on the marijuana law. The Attorney General says the bill to reach the House by the end of the year. Taxi drivers trying to ride out historic high gas prices. And John Quell Jones speaks out about coming out and the consequences. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning, we will be talking about Regional HIV Testing Day. That's tomorrow. We're going to be talking about HIV testing in the country and give you a preview of that event. And later in Morning Blend Business, following up on our discussion from Monday about what's next for high school and college graduates, we're going to be talking about the hottest job markets, the hottest industries and sectors, the emerging ones over the next few years, what your graduates or current high schoolers need to be thinking about for career options over the next decade. But first, it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, Attorney General Ryan Pinder says the government intends to advance its cannabis bill to develop a comprehensive regulatory framework for growing, harvesting, and exporting cannabis. It's going to happen within the first 6 months of the new fiscal year. Pinder saying during the budget debate in the Senate yesterday that the legislation is internationally benchmarked against the countries around the world in the industry. He says the framework will be for the regulation of the medical cannabis industry from the farm to the border, and will provide a separate regulatory framework for industrial hemp, for wellness products, and for industrial uses such as clothing, rope, and building materials made from hemp. He says they're also going to provide a framework for the decriminalization of possession of small amounts of cannabis products. The PLP promised to address the issue in its blueprint for change and committed to encouraging joint ventures in the medical cannabis industry. The party also said it would ensure that all Bahamians are given full access to development and have a fair opportunity to become owners in the industry. Pinder also touting the government's legislative agenda. He says the government hopes to move forward with more than 10 pieces of legislation during the first half of the upcoming fiscal year. These include the Nationality Bill, the aforementioned Cannabis Bill, a suite of healthcare legislation, an amendment to the Evidence Act, the Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill, the Carbon Exchange Bill, the Mining Authority Bill, the Bahamas Strategic Investment Fund legislation, amendments to the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museum Act, and regulations and company legislative reform. F&M Deputy Leader Shannon Cartwright calling on the government to reduce taxes on fuel as the price of gas continues to rise. Cartwright saying in a statement yesterday that Bahamians need relief at the pump and that the government promised the government must provide tax relief. He said, quote, as gas prices continue to skyrocket and economic pressures continue to mount on the Bahamian economy, particularly in the pockets of struggling Bahamians, the government must continue. Government continues to play bystander and has taken a hands-off approach as the fuel crisis engulfs Bahamian motorists. Cartwright says the government has offered more rhetoric than relief for the situation. He said it should act now and reduce the taxes it receives to alleviate the burden at the pump for all Bahamians. As of yesterday, gas prices ranged from $6.97 to $7.39 per gallon in New Providence. At the start of the year, gas prices were a little over $5. Gas station operators who threatened to strike in April have maintained they are not benefiting from the rising prices at the pump. And Prime Minister Philip Davis once again sounding the alarm on climate change and the dire consequences it poses to small island developing states. As he addressed the Commonwealth Heads of Government Business Forum in Rwanda, Davis noted that the Bahamas is vulnerable to floods caused by rising sea level, along with storm surge due to hurricanes. The Prime Minister has made similar pleas at other events around the world. He said yesterday that the country needs partners to support its efforts. He noted that Commonwealth leaders chose to meet because they saw the value in the institution. He says at the bare minimum, this makes, quote, each of us responsible for honoring the conditions of membership. Overseas from Afghanistan, more details coming out after that massive earthquake. Villagers rushing to bury the dead today and digging by hand through the rubble of their homes in search of survivors of a powerful earthquake in eastern Afghanistan that killed at least 1,000 people. The Taliban and the international community that fled their takeover struggling to bring help to the disaster's victims. In the epicenter of the area of the quake from Wednesday, people digging lines of graves in one village as they try to lay the dead to rest quickly in line with Muslim tradition. In one courtyard, bodies lay wrapped in plastic to protect them from the rains that are hampering relief efforts for the living. The quake was Afghanistan's deadliest in 2 decades, and officials say the toll could rise. An estimated 1,500 others reported missing, according to the state-run news agency. The disaster heaps more misery in a country where millions already faced increasing hunger and poverty, and the health system has crumbled since the Taliban retook power nearly 10 months ago amid the U.S. and NATO withdrawal. The takeover led to a cutoff of vital international financing, and most of the world has shunned the Taliban government. How the international humanitarian community, which has pulled back significant resources from the country, will be able to offer aid and whether the Taliban will allow it remain to be seen. In sports, from the FIBA Under-15 Central Basket Championships for boys, Team Bahamas earning a 79-59 win over Turks and Caicos yesterday. It's coming after 3 big losses to open the tournament. And from tennis, Davis Cup play, the Bahamas men's doubles team of Baker Newman and Marvin Roll playing a tough match to stop Paraguay from a sweep in Davis Cup competition. They won that match but lost the tie 2-1 in Costa Rica. The match lasted a little over 2 hours. Roll and Newman battled back after dropping the first set 6-2 and pulled off a tough 3-setter 2-6, 7-5, 7-6. The Bahamas winning the first game of the second set, but Paraguay winning the second. It's back and forth. For most of this, you can read more about it in today's Guardian Sports section. The Bahamas Chess Federation ratifying a 10-member team that will represent the country at the 2022 International Chess Federation Chess Olympiad in India. The 44th edition of the competition set for July 8th through August 10th. You can read about the team members in today's Guardian Sports section. And the Miami Marlins gearing up to host the second edition of the Bahamian Heritage Celebration at Lone Depot Park in Miami. That's coming this Saturday. The celebration will center around Bahamian professional baseball player Jazz Chisholm Jr. when he and the Marlins take on the New York Mets. Saturday afternoon, the evening will be recognized as Jazz Chisholm's Bobblehead Day at the park. Chisholm, the 24-year-old infielder, is the 7th Bahamian to play in the majors in Major League Baseball. He's having a productive season with the Marlins, who are 13 games behind the league-leading Mets of New York in the National League East Division. The Mets have a 45-25 win-loss record, while the Marlins are at 30-36. And from hockey from the NHL, the Colorado Avalanche just 1 win away now from the Stanley Cup Championship as they took down the Tampa Bay Lightning in Tampa last night. They have a 3-1 lead in the series, beating Tampa Bay in overtime 3-2 last night. Game 5 set for tomorrow night in Colorado. That's sports, and that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your first look at weather for today, we've got troughing across the southern islands. That will continue to support showers over the area. Meanwhile, high pressure will continue to produce light winds across the country. There is still a risk of water spout activity, and everybody's being advised to remain hydrated and limit outdoor exposure, sun exposure for prolonged periods, as we're expecting another day with soaring heat indices. For all areas today, your forecast calls for partly sunny and hot conditions with a chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms, turning mostly fair tonight. Winds east to southeast at 10 knots or less in the northwest Bahamas, easterly at 10 knots in the central and southeast Bahamas, seas 3 feet or less. Temperatures getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius, but that heat index will be a factor again today. It will feel more like 101 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. It's time for break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9, your home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Nassau Tile is having its annual inventory sale. That's right. From June 23rd to 29th, you can save up to 25% off selected 12 by 24-inch porcelain tiles and take 20% off store-wide on all tile, thinset, grout, and mosaics. Our tile experts are ready to guide you in selecting the right tiles for your kitchen backsplash, living room, bathroom, and patio. So don't miss out. Call 322-2100 or visit our showroom at 43 Dowsville Street and save big with Nassau Tile, where the world is at your feet.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and carved body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 at BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Remember, standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Doing well. Always a pleasure to talk with you.
Likewise.
And I've got a lot to get to this morning. We'll give you the phone numbers to call in so you can join the conversation as well. Coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about HIV tests. There's a regional HIV testing day tomorrow, and we'll be talking about HIV in the country and testing and what we can expect tomorrow at this event at Pompey Square. And later in Morning Blend Business, we'll be talking about the hottest Jobs of the future, the near future. What's looking like the industry to get into with the most opportunities, especially for recent graduates or soon-to-be graduates, what you should be thinking about, as opposed to the traditional jobs that everybody seems to want to gravitate towards. We'll find out if there are any surprises in there this morning. That's coming up. But first, it's time for the latest in the news. And in the news, the debate on the budget moves to the Senate now, going on in the Senate, and we're hearing from ministers, cabinet ministers in the Senate, including Attorney General Ryan Pinder, who was touting the government's aggressive legislative agenda for the next few months. 10 pieces of legislation expected during the first half of the upcoming fiscal year, which begins on July 1st. And those include the Nationality Bill, the Cannabis Bill, a suite of healthcare legislation, an amendment to the Evidence Act, Rehabilitation of Offenders Amendment Bill, the Carbon Exchange Bill, the Mining Authority Bill, the Bahamas Strategic Investment Fund legislation, amendments to the Antiquities, Monuments, and Museum Act and regulations, and company legislative reform. We've heard before about the Nationality Bill. The government says they are going to seek to do through laws what we couldn't do with the Constitution. And we can already see this is going to be an interesting ride. There's a letter in today about this, about how this needs to be done with a proper referendum. But that seems to be the dirtiest word in the country, that R word.
We know what happens with referendums. Referendums become politicized. And
only if we want them to be. And if both sides now have been trying to do this, why should it be? And every time when we're not having a referendum, everybody calls and complains about, oh, it's unfair. I can't see my son. Oh, I have to adopt my son. Yeah. So stop the foolishness and go and address this like adults.
it's us, you know.
But hey.
We're the problem.
But we know there are some pesky lawyers out there who are going to have a field day taking this to court to say it's unconstitutional. And they will have, unfortunately, or fortunately, I don't know, the support of members of the public who will say, yeah, you cannot have laws that do not mesh with the Constitution. And so just because you
But
failed...
when we have an opportunity to change the Constitution to our benefit, we don't do that.
Hey, I mean, you gotta, sometimes you fail quite a few times before you finally succeed, right? You cannot say because the first couple didn't work that they will never work. Keep trying. Don't do what you did in the past. Don't have a very short run of the education campaign, the public awareness campaign. Take it down a notch in terms of making it more accessible for people to understand what you're talking about. Really get the folks who this will impact to come forward, because we didn't hear much from them during the last referendum. Heard from a few people. Many people didn't want to talk. We tried very hard to get some on the air. We got a couple, but not the ones that might have made the difference.
Do you think the lack of education or understanding is the reason, is a huge factor in why?
Yeah, I really do. And I think the people who were against it for whatever reasons they had were much more vocal than the people who were pushing it. And somebody was able to control the narrative to say this is only going to benefit the elites and blah, 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 when it's thousands of people who are in limbo because of this. And so we do need everyone to be responsible here, and that's going to be a challenge. But you cannot give up. You cannot give up. But this will be a Band-Aid solution, and it may help some people, but I think... Let's hear what you have to say about that, folks. And we've promised to do a whole show, a series of shows on this, looking at this from all the angles. But we know this needs to be addressed. It really does. It really does. So, but they're very aggressive with it. They say they're going to do this through law. What do you make of it? 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. There's a letter in today's Nassau Guardian from our friend, Pastor Cedric Moss. Citizenship matters should be dealt with in proper referendum. I'm going to read part of this for you. He says, once again, the government, through Attorney General Ryan Pinder, has foreshadowed its plan to introduce legislation to bring about citizenship changes that referendums of 2002 and 2016 did not. In my view, this is rather unfortunate. The Attorney General is quoted as saying that the citizenship changes the government is seeking to bring about have been impossible to attain through referenda. While it is true that they were not obtained through referenda, it is not they have been impossible to attain that way. The sad reality is that the 2002 referendum was politicized. Voters were told that the outcome of the referendum would determine the winner of the impending general election. You remember that, right? And the sadder reality is that the 2016 referendum was sexualized. The government derailed what was otherwise a referendum on citizenship by trying to get voters to amend Article 26 of the Constitution to add sex as a ground of non-discrimination. Accordingly, Bahamian voters voted resoundingly no in each referendum. Some have wrongly accused Bahamian voters of being incapable of thinking through the referendum questions, and others have even gone as far as to say that Bahamian voters will never amend the Constitution. Such assessments don't give Bahamian voters the credit they deserve. It is rather unfortunate that Bahamian voters were not given the opportunity to consider amending certain citizenship provisions in the Constitution in a proper referendum that was not freighted with other concerns like politics and sex and its meaning. And now the government is resorting to grant some citizenship rights that ideally should have been and would have been approved by Bahamian voters in a proper referendum. This is sad. It did not have to be this way. Also, I add my voice to other voices calling upon the government not to withdraw the appeal before the Privy Council that will settle once and for all the proper construction of Article 6. Were they thinking about doing that? If indeed the proper construction of Article 6 is that any child born in the Bahamas is a Bahamian at birth, so long as one of his parents is a Bahamian, without regard to marital status, we owe citizenship to all those to whom it has been denied since July 10th, 1973, and they should be allowed to have the privilege of citizenship by constitutional right and not legislative favor. The Privy Council should be allowed to rule whether this is indeed the case. On the other hand, if the proper construction of Article 6 is the one that currently prevails, so that unmarried Bahamian men cannot pass citizenship on to their out-of-wedlock children at birth, the Privy Council should be allowed to affirm it and close the legal debate on the issue. Either way, I believe it is proper and fitting for the government to allow our final court to have the final say in the matter. To my mind, it does not seem right that a 3-2 decision of the Court of Appeal should be allowed to settle what is perhaps the most important constitutional question in our nation's history to date, bearing in mind that it is about the sacred gift of Bahamian citizenship and who is constitutionally entitled to it at birth. The government is free to move ahead with its legislative plans regarding citizenship as it sees fit, but I still maintain that it is unfortunate that Bahamian voters were not given a proper opportunity to confer certain citizenship rights constitutionally through referenda, and I pray that the government allows the Privy Council to rule on proper construction of Article 6. Again, that's from Pastor Cedric Moss. All right, interesting points there. I maybe have not been paying attention. Did they say they were going to drop that?
I don't know. That was, when you read that part of it, I was like, what? Did I miss something? So I'm not sure. But like you said, very interesting points.
Yeah. And I agree with him. That needs to go to the Privy Council. That needs to be resolved once and for all.
Yes.
It seems pretty clear.
To me, I thought it was clear. And then, you start hearing the different voices and it's like, oh, let me read that again.
All right. Let's see what you have to say, folks. Again, 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, and text us, 422-4796. Let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight and LeBron, and to your listeners. How y'all doing?
You're doing well.
Good morning.
Okay, Dwight, on the citizenship thing, I was wondering if they talking about a referendum again, because I thought we already dealt with that. And I feel like it's a waste of money. I don't know if the international or the United Nations has helped us. I mean, most of the things we be pushing, it might be good, right? And some of the things international, like the United Nations is be telling us we should do it. It's the good thing to do. So I was wondering, like, if they has helped us, like, with the funds part, the money part, to do a referendum, because I don't know if it makes sense to be doing that when the Bahamian people already dealt with it. And I was wondering, why don't sit in Parliament, even if we vote them out? Because if they do a referendum, I believe that the majority of us could do the same thing and vote against it. I don't know if I missed it on your news yesterday or missed it this morning. I just enjoy when you talk about the sports news, but I didn't hear nothing on Guardian Radio about the Bahamian female basketball player who's saying BTC discriminating because she come out of the closet
we're gonna talk,
announced that she's a lesbian now. She ain't wearing dress no more. So I guess that ain't what they was looking for. I think just as she had a right to come out the closet, BTC have their right to say if they don't want to renew a contract.
Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second. It didn't quite go like that, but we're going to get to that in a second. No one's talking about a referendum. That's what the folks are saying, that we should have a referendum. But the government wants to do legislative adjustments. And they feel that the people are not ready for a referendum or will be sidetracked or something if we do a referendum.
Basically, what they're saying is that we've given you two opportunities, and you, as a people, you don't seem prepared or ready to make that decision. So we're going to remove that choice from you, and we're going to.
But they all had a part to play in that, though. They all had a part to play in that. So
absolutely,
they got to look in the mirror first.
Yeah, right? But they absolutely did. I agree with you 100%, and that's why one of the things I said is, what you found is that people just began during the discussions to go with whatever their party, whatever the standard was that their party came out with. The people, members of parliament, whatever, however they was talking about it, talking for it or against it, that then became the stance that people took, that a number of people took, and that's how they went and they voted, not looking at it and saying, you know what, how is this impacting our country? How is this going to impact me? But more so, so-and-so said, and because they said that, no. And then it became, the last one just really became convoluted to my mind with so many other things. But yeah, so now those same people that have said to you across the board, no, or across the board, yes, now they're going to turn around and create the law, create a law. So, and that'll just be law. So they've taken the power of choice from you.
Well, let's take this call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Mr. Laverne, and good morning to those who wake up in the land of the living. I hope you had something hot on your chest or to drink this morning. Dwight, I think the very first successful referendum, if they decide to do it, is with the canvas referendum. And I can say this, and I have my reasons why is that you had then the government, the F&M government then, and now this is the Progressive Liberal Party. I think that this has been lingering with both governments for such a long, long time. And this will be the only successful referendum if you take it to the people. I am telling you, Dwight.
No one has said they will. They're not.
No. Even if they do, I'm saying even if they do, right? Because remember now, you have on the commission. I think it was the Indian Hemp or Kansas Commission. You had pastors and different people, but the problem with legalizing that, me, Dwight, this is just my honest opinion, only me, is that we have to find honest people. And I'm talking about people throughout the country. I'm not talking about bring nobody in, because, it makes me sick when we have to bring people in to do certain things in our country. And we have qualified, smart, honest, truthful Bahamians here, right? And then the next problem that I have is that the dispensaries places would you once this is legalized and everything is a go ahead, what stores would you have as a dispensary? And then here it comes in again, Dwight. That's a good industry. That's $1 billion industry, and it can really help us go ahead with our economy and different things. But Mr. Strachan and Ms. Gardner, we have to find honest people.
All right. Well, we're not really talking about that yet. I mean, we may get to that in a second. We're talking about citizenship and people who are born here and who aren't entitled to it as yet, and people who have fathers here and aren't entitled to citizenship, and are fathers who have to go to adopt their own children because of the Constitution, and how this has been just a horrible situation for them.
But Dwight, the citizenship thing with children and parents, this has been lingering on. I ain't gonna lie, this has been lingering on too long, because, like I said, I speak for me. I don't speak for nobody or no party. I speak for DeWitt, and I think that if a child is born here, right, well, the parent came here illegally. All right. If the child born here, they navel string, everything born here, their birth certificate registered that they're born here. I don't see why it has to be such a big deal with citizenship, because the child ain't asked where they must be born.
Well, the problem is the Constitution, right? So it's unfortunately a very big deal, a very, very big deal. There are tons of people who can't take advantage of countless opportunities because of this. Jobs, scholarships, and more. And they're just living in limbo because we haven't dealt with this.
It is unfortunate, because it just doesn't make any sense to me. If your father is a Bahamian, you were born in the Bahamas, that should be, automatic.
Let's take another call.
To my mind, it should be automatic, regardless of whether he's married to your mother or not.
Yeah, well, parents don't think that.
Yeah.
Or don't care to go and show up to vote.
Right. Until, of course, it impacts us, right?
Until they have a grandchild who can't go to.
And that's part of the problem, too. We, if it isn't impacting us on a personal level, we're not as interested or interested at all. And then maybe it happens to a close friend, or it happens in our family, and then.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's take some more calls. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning to you, Dwight. Good morning to you, Ms. Gardner, and good morning to the Water Bahamas, Alan Johnson. Dwight, it's oftentimes we always insult the intelligence of the Bahamian people in saying what they understood or how they've been misled, et cetera, et cetera. But when you look at referendums or referenda that happen in the Bahamas, it just shows duplicity, hypocrisy, or plain ignorance among the leadership. The biggest problem is that the major difference between law and the country, one enshrines it and one just simply passed the law. The argument of that, if when we do it this way, another government will come in and change it, et cetera, it's another weak argument.
It's not a weak argument, see.
Yeah, but I'm saying
that's a serious thing.
Yes, but do you know we have laws, thousands of them, I think, that is there. You have to give justification for the government changing it, because then couldn't another government goes back and change it? The people would then stand up and change it back to what they want it to be.
Oh yeah, okay.
No, but see again, right? There goes the weakness of an argument, because if that's the case that you're saying, then all of our laws should be constitutional laws in the Constitution rather than in the laws, because there's a lot of laws that protects us on a daily basis that is not enshrined. That's the word. The word is enshrined. But if you look at the power of Parliament in the Constitution, number 13, it says Parliament may make provisions, A, position of citizenship of the Bahamas by persons who do not become citizens of the Bahamas by virtue of the provisions of this chapter. And so it has always given us the ability to pass these laws to provide for citizenship and the processes subject to our other immigration laws. The point we make is that for 49 years, we've used the argument that my sisters, my cousins, my nieces, my aunts, and my daughters, and my mothers, and all of these females, as well as males, because it also in the Constitution discriminates against me as a male also. If you look at it in its fullest context, and this is why we made it a man against woman thing. That's another being disingenuous about the fullness of how the balance of the Constitution is instead of having a conversation. The Constitution does three things. It protects, it permits, and then so until we actually have a conversation of what the Constitution actually says and what we're trying to achieve, the question is, Dwight, how then now? There's been no change in the Constitution, but it's capable to put in law what is necessary for our daughters, our sisters, our moms and aunts and everything to get these rights, as well as our brothers and our uncles and everything else. Why haven't we done this? We said this, we have been discriminating against them for 49 years.
Because they will open themselves up for legal challenges.
I'm saying this, whether you do or do not. Should we not have tested this 20 years ago, 30 years ago? I mean, what is the whole purpose? That's the whole purpose of the court, is to challenge it to see the thing. Because you know what the court does? The court tells you where the defects in the law is, and you can then seek to correct them. It's the same. I'm saying that it's the circular argument we keep having, as opposed to doing what is necessary. We've spent hundreds of millions of dollars for legal.
Can you imagine that, though, C. Allen? I mean, you do all of that. You do test it, send it to court. You go all the way to the Privy Council for them to tell you need to have a constitutional referendum.
No, they don't. No. But we could have asked for judicial review and have this done, Dwight. See, this is why the legal fraternity should come and defend this, rather than the so-called individuals who say, I think and I feel whatever. See, what happens though, Dwight, is this. The steps of citizenship, right? Where you say, on the instant my daughter has it, on the instant my son has it, because it's protected within the Constitution. But even that within the Constitution is subject to the Immigration Act. And the Immigration Act, if anything, is what is preventing the individuals from having the citizenship on the day of birth, as opposed to the date of whatever 5 years or this steps or whatever.
So you really think that all of these lawyers we've had in the Parliament in all these many decades, you don't think they ever thought about this, that we should just pass a law?
Thinking about something and acting on it is two different things.
Well, we're going to see. We're going to see what happens. They're going to do it, and we will see. We'll see how idle the lawyers are in the country when they decide, or someone, We'll see. We're hoping not, but at some point we have to become more mature and say that this Constitution is not perfect. It really needs some work, if not to be entirely overhauled. At some point, we've got to grow up and realize that, right? Right? Let's take a few more calls. We've got to move on. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How are you this
morning? Doing well.
Miss Laverne. Yes.
Morning.
The government's intent is to just change the law instead of taking it to a referendum.
Yes.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I think it's a good step in the right direction at this time. And what happened is it leaves too much people in limbo at this time. If you're a Bahamian woman and you have a child anywhere else in the world, your child is not a Bahamian. So I think this would help.
If you're unmarried,
pardon me?
If you're unmarried, your child is a Bahamian.
If you're unmarried, your child is a Bahamian.
Mm-hmm.
It's Not a Bahamian, you mean?
Is
a Bahamian?
Yeah.
I thought the law states that once you're a Bahamian woman and your child is born anywhere else in the world, they have to apply for citizenship, married or unmarried. That's what I thought the law said.
They'll get it.
I mean, you could recheck it for me.
The problem is when you're married as a woman,
all right.
and when you're unmarried as a man. So it's those issues. So if you're married as a man, yeah, you get it.
But
and
I'm
if you're
saying
unmarried as a
woman. All right, but I'm saying to you, I think it's still a step in the right direction, because a referendum, to fully educate the person on the referendum, it should at least be 3 to 4 years of education. You understand? So people could fully understand what they're actually voting on. And the government then tried the referendums several occasions and all failed. So let's try it this way, and if it passes, at least we have enough lawyers in the country. Like you say, someone and fight it down regardless to what, right? But we have a good opportunity to make it right. Thank you, man.
Okay. All right. One final call, then we'll get to your text messages, then we've got to move on. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, sir. I hope I get the same time as these other callers, right? But how could a referendum be a fair referendum when it's the voice of the people? You know, and then we look at countries like let's say Espanol, you know, one land, same land as Haiti, Dominican Republic. These people, they ain't got no interest in Haitians taking over their country or outnumbering them. Look at the same as Turks and Caicos. That's a serious issue for the Turks and Caicos. You know, so you know, and look at the referendum, or what our Prime Minister called an opinion poll on gambling. Come on now, what does the Prime Minister do at that time? He went against the wishes of the people, you know, and he legalized something that should have been a national thing. You know, numbers. Come on now, rather than giving these people casinos or something like that. You see, so we got to be careful, man. You know, Bahamians are not stupid. You understand me? It seems like the people who are interested in these legislation changes or constitutional changes seem like they're the stupid ones. Thank you.
Okay. I actually don't think I could go through another referendum, though. Because things get really...
It does. Things get very heated. They get... very convoluted.
I've proposed this before, that I think every year we need to have a referendum, right? But like every majority rule day, I've said this. But
what are we gonna have a referendum?
We got a 1,000 things that we need to address, but it's a lot. It's a lot. You take 3 months vacation after that to catch yourself. You know what I mean? Let's read some text messages. This person says here, the problem with referenda is the campaign is never about educating. It's about persuasion. And the media needs to take some blame for the failure of referendums as well, because the media simply parrots whatever these politicians say and don't critically analyze it. Well, I think that's a bunch of foolishness. But okay, I hear you.
Well, Dwight, you know the media always at fault.
It's always the media.
You know, somehow it's the media.
I applaud the government on tackling this citizenship issue once and for all. Don't fool with no referendum. They have countless amounts of QCs that have no doubt they will get this right. Okay, sure. This person says, I love Hubert Ingram, but the whole concept of referenda was smothered in the cradle when at our first referendum he said whoever wins the referendum will win the election. All these years later, that political angle is at the back of our minds whenever a referendum comes up, because it's looked at as a general election preview. Well, that's why you got to have them early in your term. So early that people can't even be possibly thinking about the next election.
But okay, let's go with this premise of the last texter. Is this texter then saying that even if a political figure, prime minister, whomever, makes that kind of a statement, we are incapable of looking at these things presented in the referenda and saying and making that decision on our own to say, you know what, this is what needs to be done. This is right. This is high time. You know,
yes, that's what the texter is saying.
We're incapable.
That's what the texter is saying. You're right. That is what the texter is saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This person says, so the people were given a choice through a referendum, but because the results were not what the government wants, they refused to accept the people's decision, so now they will create the law themselves to suit their agenda. That's wrong. Accept the people's choice. Boy. Yeah, okay. I wish we would stop saying that the referendum was not successful, because it was. I did not like the outcome, but it's not like it failed. Well, I mean, I heard that caller say that too, but
if you look at it from the standpoint that people came out, they voted what they we're going to say what they believe or felt.
Yeah, you know, can look
in
at
terms
it
of that.
This is what we were seeking to do. This, do you agree or not? The objective was, and it didn't work, so it failed. Bam. Yeah, but that's how it works. You get caught up on the wrong things, I suspect, but okay. This person says the government has indicated that they will abandon the citizenship appeal before the Privy Council. Oh, they did. A public announcement was made. How did I miss it? Where was I? Oh, that's crazy. That's not good. Why? We do want that resolved once and for all. Really?
We need it resolved once and for all.
So everyone was that quiet about it? I mean, this is seriously, I don't know. Was I on vacation that week? Oh, man, that's not cool. And the public, nothing. Really?
When was this decision made?
Oh, I feel... Wow, okay. All right. That's very disturbing. We do need that resolved. We do need that resolved.
Well, when was the decision made to remove it from them?
Okay, I gotta look that up. Boy, oh boy. Dwight, not a single lawyer to this law. Our lawyers are not interested unless they can make big money. They could potentially make some big money from that. They could. This one says referendums don't fail. It's just the outcome of what the majority wanted. The referendum didn't fail. Okay. I listen to you often as your callers refer to the PLP referendum government. Government is continuous, but one can refer to the varied administrations. The former was the Menace or the last FNM administration. We're now being led by the Davis administration. Okay. Well. After increasing millions of dollars on consultancy for the Office of the Prime Minister, no one told Prime Minister Davis that the Bahamian people already dealt with that citizenship situation. Referendum is a bad word. Again, it doesn't mean that you need to give up. But many of these places, as clearly some of you want to talk about marijuana, many of the places in the U.S. where they are now having legal marijuana, cannabis, whatevers, they had referendum on it before, and some of them did fail. We adjusted what was proposed to happen, and they came back to the people, and it passed. Right, so you don't give up if you want something to change. You just have to adjust it. What was your problem with it? You didn't like this word in there? Okay, we're going to take the word out now and look at this. Do you like this? Still no? Okay, what's the issue? And then people tell you, and then you fix it. And hopefully, you get it to pass. Now, doing it separately, someone's asking, although we found out when we were looking into this that there was an issue with having a referendum at the same time as general election, I believe. But anyway, so somebody's asking, why can't constitutional questions like this be on the ballot when voting takes place? Now, apparently they'll have to pass a law for that to happen. So it's just a very complicated place. This is a complicated little country.
It's a lot of...
Oh, boy.
Ins and outs.
Yeah. All right, so let's quickly talk about the marijuana issue there. I believe this one would pass probably, and that says a lot about us. But there won't be because there's a need for it. The government just will advance its cannabis bill. And as Attorney General Ryan Pinder says, it's going to develop a comprehensive regulatory framework for growing, harvesting, and exporting cannabis. And that's going to happen within the first 6 months of the new fiscal year. The legislation is internationally benchmarked, we're told, against countries around the world in the industry, and that the framework will be for the regulation of the medical cannabis industry from the farm to the border, and will also provide a separate regulatory framework for industrial hemp, for wellness products, and for industrial uses such as clothing, rope, and building materials made from hemp. Now, that last part is actually the most exciting part to me.
Yes.
The most exciting part, and where the real potential money will be. As we did some shows on this a few years back. And
yeah, I remember.
Right?
I remember one of them. It was very exciting. He was talking about all of
things.
You
could make tables. You could make doors. You could make anything out of hemp, apparently. And that is.
I remember that show very well. So I think that this that, like you said, that aspect of it can really make some good money.
Yeah. So it's a potential game changer there, and that could be very, very exciting. And so we will keep you posted on that. I am certain of that, and we will see how that goes. Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk about, including what Jonquel Jones is saying, what she told ESPN, and I want to get your views on that. That's coming up. Stay tuned. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Walking down them rocky, narrow dirt roads with a basket of potatoes on my head. Oh, don't you worry, I come from down home. That's where the island folks bake their potato bread. They bake it down home, outside in the Dutch oven down home, wrapped in banana leaf down home. My, it tastes so sweet down home.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
This is AP News. I'm Rita Foley. Today, the January 6th committee will hear from then President Trump's acting attorney general during the riot at the U.S. Capitol, Jeffrey Rosen. The AP's Tim McGuire reports.
This month's final hearing is expected to highlight testimony from former Justice Department officials about Trump's proposals to reject the election results. The Select Committee investigating the Capitol riot plans to continue its public hearings into next month. Committee Chair, Mississippi's Benny Thompson, says a lot of information has been coming in, including new documentary film footage of Trump's final months in office. Tim McGuire, Washington.
Many Americans are ditching the car, riding their bikes or carpooling to get to work as gas prices remain high. Gas is $4.94 a gallon this morning. Why is it so high? We asked Chief Economist Mark Sandy at Moody's Analytics.
Oil prices are up largely, almost entirely because of the Russian invasion of Ukraine and the disruptions of Russian oil supply. Russia produces a lot of oil, exports a lot of oil, and that's come off the market. So it's just supply and demand. If you have less supply, and of course the economy is generating demand for oil, then prices have to go up, and that's exactly what's been happening.
President Biden's asking Congress to suspend federal gasoline and diesel taxes for 3 months. That would save about 18 cents a gallon on gas. He's urging states to do the same thing. About the possibility of a political settlement to the war in Ukraine. It's possible, said the Kremlin spokesman, after Ukraine meets all the Russian demands. No word on why this happened, but a helicopter crashed in West Virginia, killing all 6 people on board. The Weather Service is warning about that dangerous heat wave in the south. They're going to feel heat for the rest of the week. This is AP News. A not guilty plea from a man accused of trying to kill Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. The AP's Ed Donahue has this.
Nicholas Roski from California was arrested outside Kavanaugh's home near Washington. An FBI agent's affidavit said he was armed with a gun and a knife, was carrying zip ties, and was dressed in black, and also called local police to say he had traveled from California to kill Kavanaugh. After his arrest, Roski told a police detective he was upset by a leaked draft opinion suggesting the Supreme Court is about to overturn Roe v. Wade, the landmark abortion case, and was also upset over the school massacre in Uvalde, Texas, and believed Kavanaugh would vote to loosen gun control laws. A tentative trial date was set for August 23rd. Ed Donahue, Washington.
Baltimore Ravens linebacker Jalen Ferguson has died. He was 26. No word yet on the cause of death. I'm Rita Foley, AP News.
It's time for your first look at traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic this morning, Milo Butler Highway seeing some heavy traffic just north of Fire Trail on the way to Harold Pond. In the northbound lanes to Tawny Williams Darling Highway, you'll see that in front of you this morning. Gladstone Road looking better as an alternate route, but still heavy traffic north way to JFK Drive. And at the southern end of Milo Butler Highway, some congestion there at the junction with Carmichael Road, southbound lanes. Blue Hill Road, also busy for you near Carmichael and north of Soldier Road as you approach Independence Drive, getting over that hill. Heavy traffic northbound there for you. Pockets along Carmichael westbound to Coral Harbor Road, but manageable, definitely. And then Marathon Road, seeing some building traffic northbound to Wolf Road, and pockets along Prince Charles Drive. And East-West Highway and Robinson Road, that intersection with Marathon looking a little busy as well. But that's what we're dealing with this morning so far. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and PIN security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic. And time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by BTC. We've got troughing across the southern islands that will continue to support showers over the area. Meanwhile, high pressure continues to produce light winds across the country. There's also a risk of water spout activity, and everybody's being urged to remain hydrated and limit outdoor sun exposure due to soaring heat indices again today. For all areas, we're looking at partly sunny and hot conditions with a chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms, turning mostly fair tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius, but the heat index will be up to 101 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to around 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, troughing will gradually dissipate while keeping shower chances in the forecast. And surface ridging will keep gentle to moderate winds across the country through Saturday. So for Friday, tomorrow, partly cloudy and hot with isolated showers and the chance of a few isolated thunderstorms. And that will likely continue through Saturday. The tropics are quiet, tropical cyclone formation unexpected through the next 5 days. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by BTC. Are you a BTC postpaid customer? Postpaid customers get a free device when renewing any postpaid contract. Visit any BTC location to renew your postpaid contract and get your free device today.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier, accounts at any time. Apply for a loan, it's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care. For every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Earning zero interest
interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too, because at CFAL, it's our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Imagine driving your dream car, doing all the things you never thought you could, like perfecting your parallel parking skills or picking up your date. Everyone loves to dream. Stop dreaming. Start driving with a brand new offer from Scotiabank. With an auto loan from Scotiabank, benefit from no payments for up to 2 months, a low interest rate, up to 9 years to repay, and free insurance for the first year, up to 2.5% of the loan amount. Promotion ends June 30th, 2022. Stop dreaming and start driving today with an auto loan from Scotiabank.
You know, you should teach a savings class, because you know everything. No, I just choose wisely. Like, I just got 2 months free home internet from BTC. All I did was sign up for internet. 2 months internet free? For real? I bundled my internet and mobile services, and now I'm paying half of what the other guys charge. Plus, as a new customer, I get 2 months internet free. What? Nah, that's a big deal.
Switch to BTC Internet and get the second and third months free for new customers. Conditions apply.
We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
Wherever you're headed, the Custom Computers Know-How team is standing by to help guide you in the East and the West. We now have 2 convenient locations on Patton Street in Palmdale and our newest store in the Caves Village Shopping Plaza through the Blake Road entrance. Discover the latest products by top international brands and the knowledge you need to unleash tomorrow's technology today. Drop by Custom Computers out east or out west. We're open Saturdays from 10 till 4.
Nassau Tile is having its annual inventory sale. That's right. From June 23rd to 29th, you can save up to 25% off selected 12 by 24-inch porcelain tiles and take 20% off store-wide on all tile, thinset, grout, and mosaics. Our tile experts are ready to guide you in selecting the right tiles for your kitchen backsplash, living room, bathroom, and patio. So, don't miss out. Call 322-2100 or visit our showroom at 43 Dowsville Street and save big with Nassau Tile, where the world is at your feet.
You're always on the go. We know life can be a daily rush. CIBC, First Caribbean, you can count on us. We make life easier. Manage your accounts at any time. Apply for a loan. It's easy when you bank online. We make life easier with choices that suit you. CIBC, First Caribbean.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Hello, myself. Together we come to play. It's the fly. Hello, myself. Together we come to play.
Back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're going to break for news in just a bit. Dwight Strachan and Laverne Gardner with you this morning. So we're going to plant this here and then pick it up on the other side of the news. But all right, so John Crow, J.J. Jones, you know, she's the MVP of the reigning MVP of the WNBA. ESPN doing a story with her, and quite an interesting story. And she's talking about the issues that WNBA players face in terms of, you know, salary and how that is minuscule compared to what NBA players make. But she's also talking about her sexuality as well, and how this has impacted her life coming out as a lesbian. She's quoted as saying, quote, "I was trying so hard to be something that I wasn't, just feeling like I had to choose between my sexuality and my relationship with God, that I wasn't really being myself and living my truth." The part that's really sticking out to Bahamians is this part here in the story. She says, when she made her second WNBA All-Star game in 2019, Jones wore pants and a short-sleeve button-up on the orange carpet, not quite a polo, but very close. Jones believes her decision to embrace her identity as a lesbian and dress more authentically came with material consequences. BTC, the Bahamas telecommunications company, she says, opted not to renew her contract, even though her basketball performance in the United States and overseas has improved. Jones says, quote, "The only difference is that I'm openly out and dressing differently." Well, that stirred up quite a bit of controversy yesterday morning, and BTC responded. We're going to get to that, and I want to hear from you after the news. Stay with us.
That just won't bother me, oh no, 'cause you're my all in all. And as we travel on this road of love from here, from now and there on, sugar.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at morningblend969.com/morningblend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line, 422-4796, standard text rate supply. And now at 8:20, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Here's what's happening. We've got troughing across the southern islands that will continue to support showers over the area, and high pressure will continue to produce light winds across the country. There is risk for water spouts, and boaters being advised to be aware of that, and everyone, the public, being advised to remain hydrated and limit outdoor activities and sun exposure due to soaring heat indices. For all areas today, forecast calls for partly sunny and hot conditions with a chance of isolated showers or thunderstorms, turning mostly fair tonight. Temperatures getting up to around 90 Fahrenheit, 32 Celsius, but the heat index will make it feel like 101 Fahrenheit, 38 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, troughing will gradually dissipate while keeping shower chances in the forecast. Surface ridging will keep gentle to moderate winds across the area as well through Saturday. So for tomorrow, Friday, we're looking at partly cloudy and hot conditions with isolated showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. Saturday, partly sunny and hot with isolated to widely scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms. The tropics are quiet. Tropical cyclone formation are expected through the next 5 days. That's your Morning Blend weather check. Weather check brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Still the first and only insurance company and agency network that lets you buy car and home insurance 100% online. Try it at bahamasfirst.com. And at 8:22, time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. For all of life's moments, there's one Visa Classic credit card. In your real-time traffic, we've got Milo Butler Highway, usual hot spot, and it's hot this morning. Traffic from just north of Fire Trail all the way up to Tonic Williams Darling Highway in the northbound lanes there. Gladstone Road looking like a better alternate route for you. Just some heavy traffic as you get north of Munnings Road on the way to JFK Drive. Blue Hill Road also seeing some heavy traffic the closer you get to the roundabout with Independence Drive. That's in the northbound lanes, and especially north of Soldier Road as you get over that hill heading to the roundabout. Elsewhere, we've got just pockets along Prince Charles Drive, Robinson Road, Robinson near Old Trail, and at the intersection of Marathon and East-West Highway. Marathon Road northbound is looking a little busy on the way to the Wolf Road roundabout, and that intersection, Wolf, Village, Soldier, and Bernard, heavy traffic there. And remember, Bernard Road, you want to avoid Bernard Road if you can. Village Road, you want to avoid Village Road if you can, as the work continues there. Lots of work going on. Elsewhere, not looking so bad. That's what we're dealing with this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert, brought to you by RBC. Experience cashless purchasing power and chip and pin security with your RBC Visa Classic credit card. Manage your day-to-day expenses and apply today at rbc.com/Caribbean/Visa Classic.
Around the world, Cleveland Clinic is recognized as a leader in healthcare. Our team of experts relentlessly pursues the best for our patients. From groundbreaking cancer research to state-of-the-art heart surgery, life-saving innovations happen here every day. When it's time to travel for your health, it's time to travel to Cleveland Clinic. Your destination for care, for every care in the world. To learn more, visit clevelandclinic.org/Caribbean.
Are you an attorney with a joint practice operating from one location? Accepting payments from clients doesn't have to be complicated.
Introducing RBC MultiPay. Now each attorney can securely accept and settle payments with one point-of-sale device supporting multiple bank accounts.
With competitive pricing, training, and easy setup, you will be up and running in no time.
Call 356-8500 to sign up for
RBC
MultiPay.
And we're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking about HIV testing and a big day tomorrow, as there is a regional HIV testing day. We're going to get some details about what we can expect tomorrow and just HIV in general in the country. That's coming up in just a... For the break for news, we mentioned Jonquel Jones, the WNBA star, and ESPN doing a profile on her. It's entitled Jonquel Jones and the Untold Story of the WNBA's reigning MVP, and there's a lot discussed in the article. It's quite interesting. Talking about the salaries. They are tiny compared to NBA players. Maxing out at, I think the article said about $228,000 a year. And, you know, there are NBA players making millions, even mediocre ones. And so, hey. But also, she talks about her sexuality. She came out as a lesbian, and she says that has caused some issues. She says, according to the article, Jones believes her decision to embrace her identity as a lesbian and dress more authentically came with material consequences. The Bahamas Telecommunications Company, she says, opted not to renew her contract even though her basketball performance in the United States and overseas had improved. Jones says, quote, "The only difference is that I'm openly out and dressing differently." She's saying she dresses in, you know, tennis shoes, pants, polo shirts, T-shirts, that kind of stuff. And so that was sweeping throughout the internet yesterday, and people were reacting. BTC issued a statement yesterday about this, and I'm going to read that statement. It says, the Bahamas Telecommunications Company has proudly supported the dreams of countless budding athletes through its dedicated sponsorship and commitment to youth empowerment and nation building. BTC has also provided endorsement contracts for a number of top professional athletes, including the Golden Girls, Golden Knights, Shawnee Miller, Jonquel Jones, and Tonique Williams-Darling. Endorsement contract with Olympian Stephen Gardner. All endorsement contracts are executed for a specific period of time. BTC has a strong culture supporting equality, diversity, and inclusion. As a company, we do not discriminate against the LGBTQIA+ community in any form or manner. Okay. So let's get your reaction to this. What do you make of it? I mean, I know, Laverne, you and I are talking off air, but, it was something said to her? Did she just have a feeling? Right. Why did you... Because,
Right. That's my thing. Like you said, we were talking off air, and I'm saying, did someone say something to her to indicate that? Why does she feel that it is because she is now open about being a lesbian that she no longer has a contract? Mm-hmm. It has to be, for me, it has to be more than I just feel this way. So that's why I just feel like that's why they did it.
Maybe it's the timing, She's thinking that I'm the MVP now, and I'm not getting a contract with you guys. That's weird, So perhaps that's it, and that is interesting. I mean, MVP. I don't think we've ever had a Bahamian. Right. An NBA player who's been the MVP. No. So to have a WNBA player be the MVP, that's a lot. Right. But that's odd, right?
Right. Mm-hmm. It is odd, but, still, like I'm saying, did somebody maybe point out something, say something to her that put her in the frame of mind that says, aha, this must be why? Because, okay. Yeah.
Well,
you're like, okay, I guess for me, I'm like, you're a ball player.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care.
What you wear. Right.
I don't care what you wear.
All
you don't have to wear a dress. You are a ball player. So wear your kicks, wear your slacks, your button downs, your whatever.
Yeah. Very interesting. But now, this is what my mind went to, and this may be offensive to some people, but sadly, it's the WNBA, and nothing to do with the fact that it's women. Just that it just is not as popular as track and field, as the NBA, as the NFL, or even Major League Baseball here, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, for a lot of Bahamians, you're going to have to explain every time who Jonquel is. And a lot of people don't know, can't recognize if you show them a picture of her. And that's very sad. That has nothing to do with, I don't know what that has to do with, but that is the reality. And people will recognize Stephen Gardner, people will recognize Shawnee Miller, Rebo, because track and field is really very, very, very popular here.
Right. So you think that maybe that has the star power in terms, maybe that had something to do with their decision?
If she were in track and field,
right,
I suspect it would be a different story.
She would still have a contract.
I suspect it would be different.
Or they would not. They would just. You think that they would have made a different decision to renew her contract?
Possibly. That's just me. I have no clue. No clue, and she might be onto something. She might have gotten a vibe, but again, if we look at it,
that's what I was thinking. I'm saying, did she pick up on some sort of a vibe?
Yeah.
Because when she looks at how her career is going now, and she's accomplishing so much, and she's really on track, having another great season.
Mm-hmm.
So she's sitting there thinking, why wouldn't you renew my contract?
Yeah.
And so I guess for her, that was the conclusion that she came to. It's because of my sexuality. It's because that I'm dressing the way that I would like to dress. So that is what she came up with. But you may also have a valid point. That may have been part of it too. That, you know, the popularity of it.
Yeah.
You know.
It's possible. Let's hear what you have to say, folks. 323-6232, 325-4316. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. You know, it probably hurt. It probably all happened around the same time. And they're like, wait, is that the reason? Could that be it? We know how the Bahamas goes.
It may have just been a coincidence. It may have.
Yeah.
But, you know, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I guess to my mind, I don't see how her dress or her sexuality would negatively impact the BTC brand.
All right, let's hear what these callers have to say. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Hi.
I think it's unfortunate the way she went about it. I mean, going to one of those popular U.S. sports companies, at least she should have her people reach out to BTC and find out, hey, we would like to have this contract renewed. You know, because the contract came to an end. They didn't stop it in the middle or before it ended. The contract came to an end. And if BTC doesn't have hundreds of millions of dollars for advertisement purposes, that's a small company to compare to companies in the United States. And that's one thing we have to keep in mind. Because if you even look at how they use the Bahamian athletes, they only use a handful of them over time, you know. The Golden Girls, you didn't hear none of them kick up when their contract came to an end. The other athletes who was coming up, BTC used them.
Yeah,
Even
but the Golden Girls,
example, right?
by then the Golden
Even
Girls weren't
Gardner.
running anymore. So it's a little different. She's at the peak of her career.
But I say, even before they even stopped running, BTC stopped using them and they went on to somebody else. Because they have a small amount of money to compare to companies in the United States for advertisement.
Sure.
Okay, take example, Stephen Gardner. He did a spread with Pride stuff for Adidas, and BTC does advertising for them. So I don't think it has anything to do with sexuality, but I think she went about it in the wrong way. In my view, she should have reached out to them first and find out, like how Ms. Gardner was saying, if somebody told her something, you just throw the blanket statement.
Well, I mean, maybe she did. We don't know. Maybe.
No, but I think she should have said that. See, when you, like I always say, put everything on the table rather than, if you're going to tell a story, tell the full story.
Okay.
Rather than leaving, if any gaps in the story, tell the full story. Because if you look at, like I say, BTC is a small company, okay? They've been helping Bahamian athletes and being one of the major sponsors for athletics in this country for umpteen years now.
Yeah.
Probably of any other company in the Bahamas, BTC has sponsored more athletic competitions for Bahamians to go abroad to compete. And the WNBA ain't no comparison to the Olympics.
Right.
To start off with, ain't no comparison. So what value does BTC really get from these athletes they choose to have to pay money to advertise BTC?
All right, thanks a lot. We've got a lot of calls coming in. We appreciate it. That's an interesting perspective. We've got a lot of your text messages too. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well.
I'm the gentleman from the north. So, like, you know, my thing is this, right? So, people battling always used to say, for every reaction, there is a reaction. And you and I both know how we in the Bahamas go. We people are some funny people. But be it as it may. But I really wanted the comment to remind me about that taxi plate issue. Remember me used to keep calling you over and over, you and Warren and the rest of the guys. I say I would never pay nobody no $500. There were no taxi plate. Because the court now comes to I don't want to do. You understand what I'm saying? And, you know, I think the Prime Minister endorsed doing some good things. Now, Michael, that seems Ryan saying they're trying to push all kind of things back on us through legislation again, because what you have to understand, if that don't go to referendum, the next government could get in and put it right back to what it was.
Yeah, that could happen, definitely, as we were saying earlier. Good morning. Thank you very much, JJ. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Early days of this dark and voice, along with you and your co-host, Dwight.
Hi.
We need justice, law, and order in this country.
Yeah.
Know something, Dwight? I'm glad this situation came out today because, let me show you something. I admired her, but I always wondered about her playing with the guys. You know, I didn't know what really was happening. I really wanted to know what was happening with that. You know what I'm saying? But I could say something. She should have inquired and give it to the public, other than having people to speculate. Let me say something else. I have young great-grandchildren, right? The oldest one, I have a really young one, young 13-year-old, right? And for anybody to be speculating of situation as such over the airwaves, I wouldn't want them to really, you know, I want my grandchildren, great-grand, grow up decent. And if you're in the position to give them the right words, I don't think you should be speculating on the radio pertaining to situation as such.
What are you talking about exactly? I'm confused. Okay.
I was lost.
What's happening? All right. Maybe with this we'll stick with the text line. Hey, one more call. Let's see what happens. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, sorry. I hope I don't be a problem. But I was saying, Levine, what you think about, did your guys read the other part where she was mentioning how she was fighting with her identity or sexuality in school, and how she cringed when she looked at the picture with her wearing the dress when she either joined the NBA or something like that. I don't think, Levine, you think it's a problem if a lesbian wears a dress? A dress is made for a woman, right? I'm lying up and listening.
Okay,
Well, because you asked, I don't think she is saying that lesbians, and I'm not trying to speak for her, but I don't think that she is saying that lesbians shouldn't wear dresses. But she cringed because she was battling, and she did it. Based on what I understand, she wore the dress more to conform and be accepted, and she was saying that she wasn't being true to herself.
Okay, this is about to go off the rails. I have a feeling. I feel it going off the rails.
I want to say, Dwight, that one of the callers, I think the first caller, that's an interesting point, because when you think of budgetary constraints, they may only have allocated sufficient resources to maybe support one athlete at a time. You know what I mean? At a time. So maybe we did this and now we're on to Stephen, but our budget can't subsidize both Stephen and Jonquil. Yeah. So now we'll give this opportunity. We'll have a contract with Stephen now that her contract is coming to an end. And then on to the next Bahamian athlete or whatever who's achieved some level of success. But again, my thing is, I would hope that they would have had a conversation, however that conversation went. And perhaps out of that conversation, she got a feeling or something. But I would have liked her to elaborate a little bit more into why she came so that we aren't speculating.
Yeah. All right, this text here, Dwight, to me, it's all about notoriety. Locally, very few people know who she is. Unfortunately, the WNBA isn't even a viable sports within the NBA. Well, okay. And editing some parts here. The bottom line is, how is Jonquil making BTC more profitable? If the analysis is it doesn't, then you have to cut. Just like how you would cut all the rest. We're better off having even Clay Thompson under contract. If you have Clay at the mall and Jonquil at the mall, who do you think will attract more people? This is about money making. Her sport makes no money. Harsh realities, eh? This texter says...
but it's true.
Dwight,
it doesn't compare to the NBA.
Yeah. Dwight, tell me how it's news that Jonquil Jones came out as a lesbian. We've got more pressing issues in this country to worry about. That's not the news part. The fact is that she's saying that she was dropped by a major advertiser because of that.
Exactly. So that's the news part of it.
Yeah. This one says here, we all know the WNBA and America is an immoral place pushing an agenda. The WNBA too? Wow. Wow. That's why everyone's pulling for Russia to win. Okay, this is crazy. We need to go back to talking about politics, apparently, Laverne, because this is going to be insane today.
Well, you know something,
Wow.
Dwight? The reality is whenever we talk about sexuality, the conversation goes way left.
Let's see
You
if
get
this
the
one.
comment.
This one's a little more sensible. Unless someone said something specific to her, then I don't think it's fair. BTC usually only has one flagship celebrity endorsement at a time that I recall, and she got MVP the same time that Stephen Gardner dominated on the track. I think she just got trumped by the bigger celebrity. Coming out in the Bahamas is bold, and I concur. Her openness, her sexuality affected her. BTC is okay with enforcing athletes as long as the athletes are not open. Well, they say otherwise. She's suggesting that perhaps there are others endorsed by BTC who are not open about their sexuality. This one says that John Quell is talking like she's entitled to get endorsements from anyone. Plus, the WNBA has the lowest ratings in sports combined, so a lot of people don't know who she is. While not as popular as the NBA and track, the lack of popularity is an opportunity. Well, yes, maybe, but not if you have limited resources, perhaps, right? But maybe for somebody else. And I hope advertisers out there listening, right? Because there you go. You might have a spokesperson right there.
It may just have come down to dollars. I'm not trying to dismiss what she's saying, but I'm just saying I wish I had more to go by.
Yeah. This one says here, you might take that no one watches the WNBA, and it's fair that they aren't paid as much as NBA players because how much you make depends on viewership. I think she handled it terribly. If she has facts as to why they didn't renew the contract, then let her share. Anything else is pure conjecture. Another one here. Oh, dear Lord. This is so sad. I want to read this. I need people to hear this, but others are going to think this is a perfectly fine text. But anyway, all right. Is Ms. Jones a crossdresser because she wants to be a man? I say this because I know some women who are gay and are very feminine. Texter. She dresses the way that she wants to dress.
Clothes that she is comfortable in.
Yeah, I mean
that is it.
It's not your business.
It's
come on, and she's comfortable.
Where are we going with this?
Plenty women are more comfortable wearing pants than wearing dresses, and that it has nothing to do with their sexuality at all. So, come on. This person says, I find BTC's marketing challenging. I'm changing some words here. Oftentimes I feel they're copying the other company and doing whatever they do, right down to their decor. But to this specific issue, just produce the data. Show us who you've sponsored and the signing patterns. That should tell us whether there's possible discrimination. In general, we do need to get beyond physical characteristics as value. In this country, it's all about profile and not substance. I agree with John Quell. In general, she's MVP in the WNBA. That is amazing, but she doesn't get the shine. I feel her choice to blast BTC on that huge international platform is in poor taste. She's acting like in a belligerent, entitled way, not unlike several aggressive fringe proponents of the LGBTQ movement who may not necessarily speak for the mainstream in that community. She should have explored the issue directly with BTC and humbly accepted the decision, which is theirs to make. And she should, something's wrong here. She should, I guess, aspire to higher heights, not drag down BTC. Okay. This one says, everyone blames their gender or sexuality these days. That is not the issue. If people do not know or relate to an athlete, no matter how talented they are, there is no business reason for a company to ask the athlete to endorse them. Why are you allowing discussion or speculation on BTC's decision not to renew the contract of John Quell? BTC was not under obligation to renew the contract. Why speculate about their reasons? Why speculate on a company's internal business decision? You will not get the true answer by speculation. You have to ask BTC. Okay. And this one says, I know the family well and feel bad about this unfortunate event. I don't want John Quell to feel this way, and I don't want BTC to be castigated in this light. This is our Bahamian thing. It would be nice for both of them to have an interview and set the record straight. I agree with Laverne Gardner. Someone did say something to her. Oh boy. All right. Well, we're going to leave that there. There's a lot more messages coming in. We can't get to all of it. Now, many of them are not nice to anybody, including us, because we're talking about it. But it is certainly an interesting conversation. And I think, Laverne, you're right. We need to hear more from both sides.
Yes,
Both
I
sides.
think that's what we need to do.
Yeah. Interesting stuff going on. Okay, so we're going to take a break. When we come back, we're going to be talking about HIV testing and a big day set for tomorrow. That's after the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Doctors Hospital's Pharmacy introduces a new spin on prescriptions called Pick Up Now, Pay Later. That's right, you can collect your medications first and pay after. How does it work? Step 1, submit a prescription online. Step 2, select the pickup site. Step 3, collect your medication. And Step 4, pay online within 14 days. For more info, call us at 242-302-4785 or visit us at doctorshosp.com.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
One thing there is no debate about is that BTC has the best rates. Now, the best rates just got better because you pay half the price of the other guys with your BTC home internet and mobile services combined. Switching to BTC is a no-brainer because I pay less with BTC and get super fast internet with speeds up to 600 megs. The other guys, their internet only go up to 105 megs.
Get all the internet you want at half the price when you bundle your home internet and mobile. Visit a BTC store to make the switch today. Conditions apply.
At Western Union, we have different sending options for you to use the one that fits you best. You can send money directly to bank accounts around the world, or for cash pickup by visiting our agent locations. Or you can also start your money transfer in our app and then pay cash in store. Look for an agent location near you, or download our app and send money to your loved ones abroad.
Breakfast just got better at Wendy's. Introducing the Breakfast Biggie Bag. Enjoy a double sausage muffin with 2 square sausage patties, a freshly cracked egg, and cheese served on a toasted English muffin, a medium waffle fries, and an orange juice for only $5.25, VAT inclusive. Add an apple pie for just $1 more.
Say what?
At Wendy's, better breakfast is all day. Offers valid in participating locations. Wendy's, different inside and out.
That's right, boys and girls. Get ready to play basketball at the 34th Annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 4th through July 29th at the Kendall J. Isaacs Gym, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. daily. So parents, get your boys and girls ages 5 through 18 registered now. Applications available at the South Bahamas Conference of Seventh-day Adventists, Tonic Williams Darling Highway, and at the registration desk at Campsite Kendall J. Isaacs Gym. Special appearances by NBA players, legends, and coaches. So get your boys and girls registered now, ages 5 through 18, for the 34th Annual Jeff Rogers Basketball Camp, July 4th through July 29th.
Create memories and experience moments with the love of your life that will last a lifetime right in our backyard. Escape the hustle and bustle of Nassau with your special someone for an intimate island getaway. You can get lost in the magic of an island sunrise or count the stars in the night sky. In the Family Islands, disconnect from the world and reconnect with the one that means the most. Now is the perfect time with our 2 fly-free Bahamas Residence special. Go to bahamasresidence.com for more info.
I used to think of the bank as my personal ATM machine. If I wanted a new car, new furniture, a weekend trip to Miami, no problem, just max out the credit card or top up my loan. I was a big baller until I realized that 75% of my salary was going to pay back all those loans. Fidelity's personal financial coaching was the best solution. Fidelity gave me a plan with a debt consolidation loan that has a built-in savings that pays 5% interest. I now only have one low monthly payment, plus money in my pocket. Give Fidelity Bank a call at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit any of Fidelity's locations or visit a website at fidelitygroup.com.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
In the bush when I was just a little tadpole, I see my daddy pushing on down in the brown bowl. So hard, so deep, say boy, drops kind of hard to reach. So fast and over, my hope can be, and you let the scrap play the tricks and me. Got to be left.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And we're changing gears now and to preview a big event taking place tomorrow. The Bahamas National HIV/AIDS Program and the Ministry of Health and Wellness hosting a regional HIV test. That is set for tomorrow. Here to tell us all about this and HIV and HIV testing in the country in general, we're very pleased to welcome Nurse Beverly Boyd. Nurse Boyd, great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Dwight. Nice to be here.
All right, so before we get to what's going to be happening tomorrow, let's talk about HIV testing in the country. We know that there have been multiple campaigns over the year for people to know their status. And are people more receptive to getting tested and frequently getting tested?
Yes, they are receptive to it, but it could be better. We will invite them to know their status, but for the most part, it really could be better. We are getting a lot of people coming in and tested. They even go into clinics, and they're going also to the lab. But we would like to invite more persons to come in.
Mm-hmm. Are people only doing this when they have a scare or when they think they've messed up, or is it a part of the routine health practices every year, every few months to get tested? What do you see?
Both. Mm-hmm. We have persons coming in yearly, sometimes twice a year. Mm-hmm. And then we also have those who have a scare and they come in also because of that. Or some are coming as a result of contact tracing.
Oh, okay. Let's talk about that and how aggressive and active that is.
Contact tracing is going well. It's going well with us. It's a program that we have that we reach out to persons that have been in contact with our positive clients, and we try to bring them in, either by the institutions themselves who tell them, look here, I was diagnosed as HIV positive, and you need to go do a test.
Well, what's the reaction like?
If it's positive, it's never a good reaction. They are well and relieved when the tests come out negative. And the other after that, it's on them. You know, we encourage them and we educate them and give them advice.
Yeah. Are you noticing changes in attitudes in terms of condom use or other types of protection? How is that going?
Well, condom use is going. We distribute condoms freely to our clients, and it's available at every clinic. But then you have still the few that says, I don't like condoms. And they don't give me the right feeling that I want. And so they are more put themselves at risk. But we have condoms, and people are still using condoms.
Yeah, well. Let's talk about tomorrow. This is a regional event. What can we expect tomorrow? And what do people need to know if they want to be tested? Do they have to register, or can they just show up?
No, you can just show up tomorrow. We are having our National Regional Testing Day, and it's going to be held on Bay Street, Pompey Square, tomorrow morning, bright and early from 8 a.m. to 3:30, 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. And you can just show up. We will do all the registration, and we'll do everything when you show up. So we're just inviting them to come because we really need them to know their status.
Yeah. So how quickly can you get your results? How soon before you get your results?
Well, 15 to 20 minutes, you will have your results in your hand. And that is one thing that is good because it's rapid testing, and you get your results right away.
And how accurate is that?
Oh, it's very accurate. It's very accurate. We do that testing, and if we have some discrepancies, we follow it up with another blood test. So we don't leave you with just the rapid test. We follow that up, and we bring you in, and we redo the test.
What type of discrepancies? Like what could happen?
Well, we always say that either you get a negative test, a positive test, or we got a test that is unconfirmed, and we want you to come in so that we can just do that again.
All right. There's a texter asking about that. Are there false positives with testing? And I guess in that line, in that vein, are there false negatives?
Well, you do have false negative because we have something called the window period. And this window period is the time that you come in contact or introduced to the HIV virus until it shows up in your blood, so the antibodies build up. And that's usually between 8 to 12 weeks after you have been had unprotected sex with a partner. So that window period is from the time that you get in contact until that shows up in your body, the antibody shows up. That's called the window period. And in that period, you can be diagnosed as negative.
Right.
Okay.
So does that mean that you should wait 3 months, basically, or what? Does it make a difference?
Well, what we always do is when you come in for the first time, we test you, and if you give you a negative result, we tell you to come in the next 3 months, and we'll retest you. Now, remembering that it begins every time you come in, every time you have unprotected sex. So if you come in today and you have unprotected sex, I'm going to wait 3 months from that. But then if you have unprotected sex tomorrow, next week, your window period for that also begins at that particular time.
Wow. All right. So the event tomorrow, here in Nassau. Now, my co-host Laverne is in Grand Bahama, and I know she wants to ask that question. But anything else happening for the other islands in the country?
Yes, we are also having a testing in the other islands, and Abaco, Eleuthera, Andros is consented to do it on that day. Lower Bogue and also Cooperstown, Abaco, and we also have four islands who consented, 5 islands who consented to join us. Freeport also consented, and I will have to get back to them to see whether they're going to do it on Friday.
Yeah.
Okay, but we have the family islands on board.
Okay, so if you can't take part in this tomorrow, you can always get free testing.
Yes, you can get free testing at our location at Rosetta Street, the old Colina building, and you also can get free testing at our location, Royal Victoria Garden, even though right now they don't have a parking spot there, but they're open.
Right. Oh,
they're
really?
Open. So once you can gain access to the property, you can have free testing. You can enter from Shirley Street area. You can get in through there. But it's free testing at the clinics also. Okay, so you can get free testing many places.
So one more time, if you're here in Nassau tomorrow, free testing, free HIV testing, regional HIV testing, and exactly where?
Okay, so our regional testing begins promptly at 8 a.m. and it goes on until 3:30 p.m. in the evening. And it's at Pompey Square. Meet us there, and we will begin and you will know your status.
And there's also going to be health screenings and giveaways as well.
You're going to have some giveaways also. We're going to have some health screening, the blood pressure, CNCD team, non-communicable disease will be there, testing high blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol. They'll be there also. You will also be privy to knowing your status, and that is the most important thing. Or also, you can make informed decisions about your life. You know, and it's something that it's a priority of the National AIDS Program to put testing out there, because the more people know they're testing, the more HIV and AIDS will decrease in the Bahamas, and I'll come over to the Bahamas, because when you find out that you're positive or you find out that you're negative, then you say steps, because we will be encourage you to keep your negative. And then if you're positive, we have an antiretroviral treatment that is so good. You know, so
definitely not a death sentence.
It's not a death sentence anymore. Remembering, even, you know, if we have a big crowd, we'll be looking forward to a big crowd out there. We are still lifting up the standards and protocol of COVID-19.
Right. So face masks will be
And it's
required.
confidential.
Yes.
Confidentiality is promoted, and of uttermost there.
Okay, all right. It's going to be an interesting day, a great day out there tomorrow, Pompey Square. Again, Nurse Beverly Boyd, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Regional HIV Testing Day tomorrow from 8 a.m. to 3:45 p.m. in Pompey Square, downtown Nassau.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Can I say thank you to some of our sponsors?
Yes,
today?
yes, definitely.
Yes. We have a lot of sponsors that we want to say thank you to, our government and other partners. We also have Pan American, PAHO, and we have the Royal Bahamas Defense Police Force, Urban Renewal, CNCD team. We're going to thank them for coming out there tomorrow. A Super Value for Golden Gates, and the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority from RM Bailey Park that we had last week, and Coca-Cola, Fun Foods, Wendy's, McDonald's. We say thank you to all of them alive for our incentives. We also want to say thank you to Bahamas Waste for providing appropriate waste and portable toilets. Family Island, who will be testing June 24th, Abaco, Exuma, Georgetown, Eleuthera. Thank you, too.
Wow, that's everybody. That's a whole bunch of you on board. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
All
yes.
right. Thank you again, Nurse Beverly Boyd. And we're going to take a break. Laverne has to leave as well. Laverne, thank you so much. And when we come back for Morning Blend Business, we are talking about the hottest future industries, the job sector, what the trends are over the next few years. If you're graduating from high school or college, what you need to be thinking about as a career opportunity. Stay tuned for that after the breaks. We'll be right back.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, June 23rd, 2022. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Laverne had to leave us, unfortunately, but just me for the next hour. And this morning we continue a conversation we started on Monday. And we looked at congratulations, graduates, but what's next? And we talked about what folks should be doing if they don't have any idea of what to do, if they're not going to college, what's next? So today we're looking a little bit further down the line at the potential job opportunities that are of the future, the hottest trends, what we are expecting to be the hottest job markets in the next 5 to 10 years. So perhaps you're in junior high right now and wondering what you should be. Don't need to go down the route that mommy and daddy did. You could blaze your own trail, and there are going to be some industries that are going to be very different from anything your parents could have thought about. What will they be? We're going to talk about that with our guest this morning. She's back. Dazzy Lightword is with us again. She is a senior digital consultant with Deltec International, and she's always been a trend watcher. And she has, right?
You're so clever. Very clever.
That's a reality.
This is true.
And we're very pleased to have her back with us this morning. Welcome again.
Yeah, it's good to be back so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it last week, Thursday, too?
Yeah, it was last.
And Thursday was the day you used to co-host with me.
Well, yeah.
Look at that.
Look at the synchronicities, right?
Boy, I tell you. Anyway, it's always a pleasure. All right, so every few years we hear about these things, and these are things that we old folks have never heard of before. Like, what? But these are things that are going to be making people a lot of money in the next few years. It's already starting in some regards. Let's talk about that all this morning and what we're going to have to do to pivot to get young people into these markets, or even older people who want to shift what needs to be done. So there's always a list, and I'm sure you have a list of what's hot right now and what we expect will be hot in the next few years. So let's go through all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is this conversation I love is a follow-up to the conversation we had last week, talking about, scholarships and for the future, what students really should be looking at. Right. One of the first things I would say, though, before we even dive deep into what these options are, is my recommendation is to get to know yourself, right? So you are, and these are all the things I wish that I was told, right, when I was at the point of graduation. Yeah. So when you are at the point where you are ready to graduate or have already graduated, you need to know who you are, because school is so systemized. A lot of times, you're used to, obeying, going to your classes, completing your assignments, but there's not a lot of really focus on who you are as a person, right? So I recommend getting to know yourself, doing your Myers-Briggs assessment. Go to 16personalities.com. Answer the questions and see what your personality type is first.
Say this again?
Yeah.
16
personalities.
Spelled out the word 16?
Oh, yeah. No, 16.
Oh, 16.
Yeah, 16. Personalities.com. Get to know your assessment of your personality, right?
You recommend adults do this as well? Like,
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of Fortune 500 companies in the U.S. Specifically look at this before they even hire for certain roles now. So if you ever watched a movie like Divergent, they kind of touch on this. There are different groupings of who we are and what our strengths and weaknesses are. So the better you know yourself, the better you know the industry you should be heading in. So for example, just as an offshoot, if you are someone that's intuitive feeling, right? You may not enjoy being an attorney, right? You just may not, right? Someone who maybe is intuitive thinking would more so enjoy that. So get to know yourself, get to know your strengths. Are you introverted, extroverted? Are you intuitive? Are you sensory? Are you thinking? Are you feeling? Are you judging? Are you perceiving? Get to know who you are first. Look at the grouping that you fall under and look at, firstly, some of the careers that persons with your personality grouping enjoy. That's a good place to start, right? And when you look at this, and that is being a starting point, the second thing is to look at traditional careers and roles, and then look at what they are in the future. So I was watching a very interesting segment. I don't remember it was on YouTube. I think it was either CNN or one of those. And they were doing this deep dive into the metaverse and how the metaverse will need the replication of a lot of the careers we have today. And so for anybody listening, if you don't know what that is, it's basically our reality just on the internet, right? So it's a replication of what we're doing here today. So for example, Dwight, you and I are sitting here in person, and we could have the same show in the metaverse with our avatars sitting and talking as well, right? Because they have reporters, they have journalists, they have all of that. So when you look,
okay. So how is that a career? I mean,
I'll tell you. So your parents are definitely going to be influencing you, right? Go ahead and be, an attorney. Go ahead and be maybe, a doctor. Go ahead and do this and do that. If you look at those traditional careers and you look at what the careers of the future are, instead of being an attorney, you may be an attorney specifically for clients in crypto, for example. You may be, so the segment of what these careers are can really transform into careers of the future if you just kind of think beyond what the box is now.
Okay.
So there was another segment I saw. They were talking about persons needing to be trained to be architects, right? For the metaverse, right? For Decentraland. So these are all, and it sounds very far, but it's happening now, right? So the students who are listening, Dwight,
explain that again. So I mean, does that mean? What does that mean? Are you a video game programmer, basically, or are you a real architect?
So let's start from the beginning, right? So today's Gen Z and a lot of the younger millennials, they have two lives that they're living. So they have the life that they live now, that's in our reality, I can see you, talk to you. And then there's an online life or an online persona. So for these children, this is a reality. Everything I'm talking about is not something that they have to think about. This is where they live. So you have 8 and 9-year-old children right now that play Roblox, right? They own houses, they build, they have their friends. It's a completely different world that they live in. So the disconnect comes in now, I would say, with a lot of parents, suggesting to their children to follow traditional career paths, but the students are also feeling the tug of another world and how that's developing, right? And so one of the great equalizers has always been the internet.
Right.
So nobody has any excuse now to not be exposed, right? Because we have the same internet. In fact, our internet is faster than a lot of persons in Florida because the cable runs through us, our seabed, right? So we have no excuse. So when we talk about careers of the future, we have to look beyond what we just see in this 21/7, what we see in this archipelago, what we see here. Getting that traditional college education is definitely important because you learn how to network, you learn how to, do time management. That is extremely important as a base. But as an offshoot, you cannot take your eyes off of what is to come, and it makes you have the ability to pivot when things start becoming mainstream. So that is really what I want the takeaway for today's conversation to be. Yes, you follow the traditional path, but do not take your eyes off and do not stop developing your skills that are alternate and in the future. Looking at Web 3, they even talk now Web 5, Web 6. Look at these industries because they are being created. People are functioning in these spaces now and making money. And you don't have to limit yourself because you have the same internet here in this country as you have everywhere else around the world. Yeah.
Okay, I still need you to explain. So if I'm living a double life, that's
no, don't say that. That's why you retract that. I don't want people to hear that.
Parallel life, is that better? Parallel life in the metaverse.
Yes.
And I'm an architect there, but not in my real life?
Yeah. So
and so what does that, is that my imagination or am I a real architect?
No, it is real, right? So it's just a matter of we tend to be multifaceted and multi-talented as people, right? So for example, you may have a career, doing what you do, but people may not know that you, drive race cars, in your part-time. They don't know what you're doing as a hobby.
Right.
So it's more so a way for you to develop other talents and strengths in another avenue that may be completely different from what you do as your traditional 9-to-5 or trajectory.
And do you make money from this?
Yes, you make money from this. There are people making money from this now. So if you go on TikTok, I like to plug TikTok because although people say it's the scourge of the internet, it's going to kill YouTube and all of that, there's still a lot of helpful videos that you can find for persons already in these spaces. Like, for example, there's a trend now for people who are talking about influencers, right? That may be going away. Content creators now are making it a rise, and also persons who create what they call UGC content, which is basically user generated. So gone are the days where you have to be an extrovert and taking selfies to make money online. Now these are the days where just in your daily life, you can go ahead and just curate what you're doing, how it can help other people, and companies will pay you. So we are truly living in a brave new world, and you're not confined by, what is just in the front of you, right? And so that is what I want the main point of today to be. Look beyond what is here. You do your full-time gig, yes. You get your college education. You apply for the scholarship, right? And we just plug that in because the deadline is still not here as yet. Just go to deltech.io, scroll to the bottom, and you'll see the initiatives, right? But as you are doing that, develop yourself in other areas to not just make yourself marketable for the Bahamas, but to make yourself marketable to the world. And that's what really builds a country, when its citizens can participate in these conversations and the skill sets of what is happening around the world.
Yeah. All right, so someone's texting saying everybody wants to be a YouTube star or TikTok star. But
if they want to.
are there real Bahamian success stories? And and can you really be that successful doing this?
Yes, absolutely. So there are Bahamian success stories. All of them do not identify as Bahamian. So there are Bahamian success stories that are pretty much behind the scenes or low key, right? They're not prominent. You're not going to see them hashtagging the things that they do. But there are Bahamians in these spaces already doing 6, 7, and 8 figures. And this is not speculation, Dwight.
What type of figures?
This is not
like
speculation.
Stick figures? What do you mean?
No. Figures of money, right? So there are people that are already doing these. But like I said, it requires them to sometimes think outside of the box. And you can do what you love. And you can also, enjoy being in a field that is not necessarily visible when someone sees you. So you have options, you have flexibility. This is the greatest time right now to be a student graduating. This is the best time for you because there's just so many opportunities that people want to give you and ones that you can go and just get yourself.
But you can't focus only on the Bahamian market.
I don't recommend focusing just on the Bahamian market. I think it makes you stronger and more marketable if you focus on more than one. Right. Now, initially, again, I'm a big proponent of, going ahead and getting your degree, going ahead and going through the college process. It'll teach you commitment. It'll teach you discipline. You're going to have a traditional degree that is going to be able to assist you in many different ways, that open access to many different things. But as you are doing that, also look parallel to what else is developing in the world and where the world is actually moving. Yeah, so that's extremely important.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about what are the trends, the things that are emerging as going to be hot in the next few years that students really should be thinking about, and anybody looking for a career change.
Yes. So a lot of Web3 is now going to be extremely popular.
No idea what you're talking about.
Well, we may need to do another show, but let me just put in there a couple of things that a lot of people can kind of Google quickly, and you can get an idea of what I'm talking about. So being in the community of this online space, right? You're looking at jobs in blockchain. You're looking at jobs in, smart contract development. You're looking at crypto jobs, right? You're looking at jobs that basically exist now for the sole purpose of assisting businesses in the online space. So you're also looking at, jobs in coaching, jobs in, the media field that are now relegated to online.
All right, slow down a little bit. So coaching, what type of coaching? Like sports?
All sorts of coaching. Okay. Coaching in sports, coaching in life coaching, coaching in confidence and appearance, right? You have image consultants now because so much of our world is now online. You even have a resurgence of plastic surgery in terms of career paths. Persons that are deep into aesthetics, like
resurgence, did it fall off a bit?
It did for a bit, and then Instagram did create more of a boom, right? And that's so anything that deals with aesthetics, appearance, image, branding, life coaching, all of that is where it's at now in terms of popularity, right? And these are viable career paths. So some of these are traditional as well. They're just in an online application. You also need persons now in securities, right? You need them to be able to, because the more time people spend online, the more unsafe your data can become, right? So in cybersecurity, those are extremely popular now. You also have a lot of
IT is.
Absolutely. Absolutely. IT. And then, because society tends to swing from one extreme to the next, as all of these online outlets become more popular, the counter or the balance to that is persons needing help in their daily lives, managing that, because they're spending so much time now immersed in these online platforms. A lot of their real life is falling apart, right? So you do need support for that. You need mental health professionals. You need persons in fitness and nutrition. You need all of these different people to help to create the world in which we live in now. Because if you look at the watch time, right? Initially, it was, I think, something like 30 minutes initially when the internet became popular with social media. Then it went to an hour. Then it went to 2 hours.
This is how long the average time
user.
spent on the,
Yeah. You now have persons spending 4+ hours just immersed in social media online. And these are not children, after school. These are adults, right? It's every time your phone makes a notification, your brain is now changed now where you feel anxiety.
Terrifying.
It is.
Every Sunday I get a notification that my screen time is 6 to 8 hours.
Yes.
What's happening with me?
Yeah, well, that's a part of it, right? So you even have persons who are now experts in helping people to replace their sources of dopamine, right? So you have those as career paths as well. People helping you to disconnect. You have retreats that do that now. You come there and you're not allowed to take your phone to, record any experiences. So the world we live in today, the opportunities are infinite and endless. It's just a matter of you knowing yourself and knowing who you are, and also embracing opportunities to expand your horizon, which takes a lot of courage, right? It takes a lot of courage. I know the last time I was here and, I was talking about the scholarship opportunities with Deltec and encouraging persons to go ahead and apply. The feedback I got from the show was overwhelmingly positive, but also notes of concern, right? In terms of just broadening their horizons to come to Nassau. So Nassau is just one step.
The Family Islands
the family, because it is exclusively for the Family Islands, right? But it takes courage, but you have just such a great community to support your initiatives, right? And I want people to know that, and the students to know that it's like that online as well. You are going to have your detractors. You are going to have persons who are going to hate on you. The internet goes either way, right? You have the people who love you extremely or the people who dislike you extremely, and both of those tend to show up on social media. But focus on the ones that love and support what you're doing. And that's how you find your community. And that's how you find what it is that you want to do for the future, for your career.
All right. So I noticed you didn't say anything about lawyers.
No, they are very necessary.
Are we still need them?
Oh, yeah. Because you now have... I follow someone on TikTok. She's a attorney specifically for social media influencers. She makes sure that they get the proper contracts from the companies. There's accountants, although accountant means something different on TikTok, but there's persons in finance, right, that exclusively work with the future, right, and where money is going now in terms of, cryptocurrency, et cetera. So there's no limitations anymore. It's just based on you knowing yourself, you knowing what you enjoy, you knowing what your dream is, and translating that into a career that's flexible enough to not only work in the real world, but also to work in the online world as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So a lot of those don't sound like they are, how do I put this? Things that are happening here right now.
Oh, they're happening here.
But you say they are.
Yes.
And we may not see them. They might not be in our face, but
Yes.
people are doing these things, and people need to be thinking about it.
Yeah, for example, the event that just happened, how long has it been now? I feel like time is just zooming past. But the event that just happened, Crypto Bahamas, right? Crypto Bahamas. Do you hear the name of that? Yeah. That happened here. These things are happening right in our faces, right in our shorelines. You have Crypto Isle, right? That's right there on what used to be what was the name of that the restaurant, Luciano's, right? That are having events constantly and consistently. So they're here. You just, like everything else, you get what you focus on and you see what your attention is turned to. So whenever people complain about social media and their algorithm, I always giggle, right? Because you are betraying yourself. So if you're complaining that you're seeing a particular thing on your timeline constantly, the algorithm is only showing you what you're interested in. It means you're looking at it, you're clicking on it, you're engaging with it, right? And so you get what you focus on. So if your focus is on the careers of the future, there are examples and communities right here in the Bahamas that you can be immersed in and you could be a part of and that you could participate in. And also that you can also travel abroad and do as well, because we have the same access. A lot of these conferences are in person, but they're also virtual, Dwight.
Yeah.
So if you don't have the ticket money necessarily to go hop on a plane, you can buy a virtual ticket, or you can look at the hashtag and watch the footage of the attendees, because people broadcast everything. Right. So there's just no excuse. You can be immersed in however deep you want to be and the different ways you want to be.
But no matter what, technology is going to be a major factor in everything.
It is the factor. Yeah, the predominant factor. Everything technology. And go on TikTok and look up these hashtags, right? Look up the hashtag, Web3. Look up the hashtag crypto. Look up hashtag NFTs. Look up hashtag smart contracts. Look at these different things that you have the interest in, and look up AI, right?
Yeah.
Look it all up, because if you watch the headlines, you would see that gentleman from Google, right? Allegedly, some disciplinary action was taken because he claimed that artificial intelligence became sentient. Right? And so all of these different things are the world that we live in today that we cannot separate ourselves from.
Right.
So we're a part of it. Don't think that we're excluded. We are in it.
My goodness. All right. If you have any questions for Dazzy, give us a call. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. NFTs, I need you to explain that to us in the simplest terms. That's non-fungible tokens, whatever that means.
Non-fungible. Fungible.
Okay, so
fungible.
Explain this to us, please. And people are making lots of money off this nonsense.
Well, see, I don't want to focus on what's being made and what's not being made. And the only reason why is because, like everything else, you have highs and lows, right? So I don't want to say, well, give advice, because this show is definitely not advice. This show is not recommendations of any sort.
Right.
This is just bringing
Put it out there, letting you know.
It's just saying what we're seeing, right? So basically, if you look at something that's fungible, right, or fungible, it can be exchanged for another thing. Basically, all it is that is a unique. I want to choose my words carefully so it's understandable. It's unique and cannot be replaced. So I know there's a lot of excitement about, for example, the Bored Apes, right? Those NFTs that we're selling for, millions of dollars, right? Those images cannot be replaced with another. So that's all a NFT is. It's just something that's non-fungible, meaning that it's unique to itself only, and it cannot be replaced. It's the simplest way to describe that.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Some of these just seem so...
Do they seem high in the sky?
Yes.
No, they're not. They're not. They're so not. And let me explain why they're not. So,
and before you go on it, so I mean, if we came close over the last 2 years to the apocalypse, right? So when
is that what you called it?
Yeah. When things collapse, when technology, when there's no more because of the whatever it is, right? That happens. Well, then this is not going to be anything you can do.
Well, so you're talking about the collapse of civilization, where we return to just, the earth and, well, there are communities online as well.
Even in the years leading up to rebuilding society. You could make money as a blacksmith, but you won't be making money.
But that's a career, Dwight. Right?
That's a career. But this stuff.
Yeah, so again, that's why duality is important and parallels are important. So that's actually a whole community online. The Doomsday Preppers, the ones who are waiting, on the collapse of everything.
And
that's
they're
actually
making money from that.
Absolutely, because they're doing consulting, right? Here is what you need to do, right? And whether it's true or not, a lot of it is seen as conspiracy theory or, kind of pie in the sky conversations. But these communities exist. So literally, no matter what your interest is, there's a community there to support you. So what if, right? So what if it doesn't, and what if we get everything just changes completely. And a lot of the analog things that we know just kind of go away overnight, right? So parallel is important. Duality is important. Go ahead and get your education in your daily life skills and careers are going to be important for supporting your life, but also look at what's to come online as well. Wow. So that's why I believe, because if you look at conversations online, and I do social media every day, all day, that's just what I'm completely immersed in. So sometimes, you see these conversations that trend and happen, and it's a lot of extremism. You have, people who are extremists on one end who believe, do away with all things, digital or things modern. And then you have persons who are, consumed only with that being the future. And I believe that most health comes in balance and in the middle. So yes, you can be on your phone in Decentraland while you're also standing outside about to exercise. Like, we have the ability to pivot and do whatever it is that we want to do. Someone just texted me and they want to know if they want to dip their toe into this metaverse, where do they go? So I'm not saying you should, but if you are curious, there are popular ones. You can Google them and have a look at them. Decentraland is one that I participate in.
What is it?
Decentraland, is one that I participate in. And so if you are curious about what that is, you can go ahead and have a look.
How do you spell that?
Decentraland. So it sounds just how it sounds. DECENTRALAND. Right? And so you just type it in and see what comes up. Don't get lost in there. Remember to eat. But yeah, you have parallels.
What are you doing in there?
Different things. So I wasn't there to do because I don't want anyone stealing my ideas.
Okay. But you're making money from this?
So I can't get into too much specifics of it.
This is the dark universe, the dark web.
Not at all. No, that's something different.
That's something
different. No, don't say that. That's something completely different. Completely different. No, it's just what we're doing here now, just in a different form, right? So that's all it is. Some people are buying real estate.
A different character?
No, I'm me in there. Okay. And shout out to my friends in there. You know who you are. So I'm me in there, but some people aren't them. They create different avatars for themselves. But you can, buy clothes. You can buy real estate. You can do all sorts of things in there. So the same things that you do here, you have digital real estate agents that only sell, land in metaverse. What they do
with real currency, or are you all just playing around?
No,
cosplay, or what are you all doing in there? Real money.
Real.
And who
money
made your real estate agent there? Are you
self-appointed,
yes.
or are you? So what a lot of companies are doing now is that they have their real life businesses, and then they also have an outlet in these different metaverses. So there's a particular car company, I can't call their name, I refuse to do it, right? But they are selling cars in the metaverse, right? And so you just have all sorts of things. It's truly a brave new world. And
so could you be a pauper in the real world and quite wealthy in the metaverse?
You can, and then you can make it trade places. It's true. It's very true, right?
This is...
But okay, you remember, I'm going to get you right now, Dwight. Did you ever play Sims?
Not really. But
Not really?
I'm quite familiar with it.
But The Sims is from like the Gen X, millennial. It's the same thing. We created this world.
It is a game, though. It is a game.
But is it? Because it's the same rules for life, right? Is it a game?
Was anybody making money from The Sims?
A lot of people were. The developers, the sellers.
Well, okay, that's different.
Yeah.
And yes, so
and the people who sell add-ons. So you have entrepreneurs in these worlds as well, right?
Yeah. But you can't be one of the Sims and be making money.
Well, when you say be one of the Sims, right?
Play it every day and make money.
It depends. If you are playing every day and you're streaming it, for example, on Twitch, you can make money. There's a guy I follow. He streams himself sleeping, and he makes a full-time income.
So this
just from being asleep.
We apologize for the world we've created.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We created this world, and they're
Is this a good thing?
It is a good thing. It's never a bad thing because things are as good and as bad as the meaning you assign to them and the level by which you participate in them. So, for example, I was talking to a student just the other day. She is learning biochem, right? And that is her field of study, and she's immersed in that. You know what she's also immersed in? She's also immersed in what that will turn into in the future in terms of, gene therapies and things like that. So I don't think that, humanity, although a lot of people have a very fatalistic view of what's happening, there is still a large segment of humans inherently that want the good and want the best for humans. Because if we were still in times of old, a lot of us wouldn't exist based on the progress that's been made in medicine. So we have to trust disruption, right? Positively. We have to trust that a lot of what is happening is for our good if we want it to be.
Right.
So today's students are very aware of it, but a lot of them are feeling a disconnect, Dwight, because the conversations that they're hearing are not addressing the things that I'm talking about today.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
All
so
right.
I just want them to know, listen, we see you, be encouraged to continue along the path.
All right, let's see what this caller has to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Dazi.
Hey, morning.
Alan Johnson. Yeah, Dwight, just for the first point of reference, the hospitality industry is about $4 billion. The metaverse alone, by 2030, will surpass the hospitality and tourism industry. It'll be $5 trillion. Essentially, the metaverse is basically a digital twin of exactly where we are. But if you actually look at what the metaverse is in its truest sense, you would see that most of the things we do today is already digitized, from ordering online, from getting out delivery of videos. Almost everything is already integrated into the digital world. Chances are about 60% of those who live outside of the Bahamas environment, when I say Bahamas environment, I'm talking about going to the store and to work, actually is already immersed in some form of digital reality. One of the gentlemen that Michael Amagan, and I don't know if you watched the movie Real Player One, that you can see. It's an older movie, but very good understanding of what is a possibility of the direction we can go. The metaverse basically is not a single destination. It's almost concept of the metaverse is basically a broader destination of what the internet will become, and you'll have multiverses in there. The key, though, is that almost everything that, and let me just put multiverses where you may have Facebook, you may have TikTok, and all these various environments, even the Bahamas, that you can actually move from one dimension. Because the behemoths themselves can create a Bahamas digitally, and I live in another metaverse, another country, and I can actually visit the Bahamas, and you can have many of the digital experiences. And so the fact is that we're not going back. We're going forward. Everything that the government talks about today, the blue economy, the green economy, ocean, orange, digital circle, aquamarine, knowledge, conceptual, everything, all of these are all digital realities. And so we, at the same time, and Dazi is absolutely correct, we have to learn to teach our children to twin, and I call twin, meaning that, yes, they are in this environment, but at the same time, they must be prepared for what is called this digital shift going to happen, because the timeline can be as early as 2 or 3 years and as long as 10 to 15 years. And so they have, when parents advise their children and everything else, they have to be aware of the duality of the environment they live in, because even lawyers, accountants, and everything will now have to address to providing services across the digital divide, which will then eventually merge into the metaverse, because you will have meetings and the face-to-face with clients, avatars, or in person. All of this is a immersive reality that we have. And so I think it's important that we talk about all these different economies that the government do. We have the Progressive Liberal Party agenda. They favor to mention all of these different colored economies. But it's important for us now to begin to break them down and direct individuals into twin, I don't want to keep using emphasis, but career paths, but to understand how those career paths can shift or how they already have been merged into this new reality we live in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
It sounds wild to me. We'll get to our text messages in a bit. We're talking with Odaz Lightburn. Dazzy is back on the radio with us today.
Yeah, today.
People are acting like you're here. Is she here to stay?
I'll behave.
We'll be back. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio. Stay with us.
Beulah gal, can you believe this? We are now the patrol queens of the neighborhood.
We now large and in charge. So we need to check out what's going on in everybody's yard. What about that gun that we know that Junior and his homeboys just ran out? Can we report that too?
Of course we can. on. But we could be in deep trouble if they find out. We need to report what we see, Beulah. When you call Crime Stoppers, they just answer your call in Miami.
So then we can report everything? Guns, where they hiding the drugs, who shoot who part of which gang, or who disturbing the peace with the loud music and the motorcycles.
Then our neighborhood will be the best in the Bahamas, and everybody gonna want to come live here. And then our house price will go up, gal.
So what we waiting on? What's the number?
If you see something, say something. Let us all pitch in and stop the crime before it's your time. Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands. Or text us through the Crack Crime Bahamas app. Stop the crime before it's your time.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Switch for better when you move your mortgage to Scotiabank. Leave behind that old mortgage plan and open the door to a low interest rate. No payments for up to 2 months and cash back of 2.5% of the mortgage amount up to US $10,000. And guess what? It gets better. Apply for your Scotiabank credit card and enjoy a low 9.99% introductory rate for the first 6 months. Switch for better and upgrade your mortgage today with Scotiabank. Offer ends June 30th, 2022.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
The Access Accelerator Small Business Development Center is here to help small businesses throughout the entire Bahamas. To better serve you, we've made it easier to contact us. Call 461-7232, WhatsApp 359-0626 or 359-2394, email helpdesk@spdcbahamas.com, or submit a ticket when you visit our help center at accessaccelerator.org. The Access Accelerator, empowering small business.
Fidelity, we're good for you. We know how important collecting your money can be to the success of your business. Start your relationship with Fidelity today so that we can show you the many options available to you with our merchant services. From click and pay options online to merchant terminals and e-commerce options. We're here to help your business succeed. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit any of our branches.
It's time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL. The Bahamas is seizing the opportunity to become the nearshore Delaware for corporate structuring and reorganization, with planned reforms to company legislation. That's according to Attorney General Ryan Pinder. These reforms involve the modernizing of some outdated laws that govern and regulate companies, including the 150-year-old Bankruptcy Act from 1870. Pinder says the government intends to appoint a public-private sector project team to overhaul the Bahamas' registered companies, insolvency, and bankruptcy legislative regimes. He says that due to the rapidly evolving domestic and international economic and financial services environments, there's a clear need to improve the current laws pertaining to the registration of companies, insolvency, and bankruptcy. Read more about this in today's Guardian Business section. And the Ministry of the Ministry of Economic Affairs Minister Michael Halkita says that the Ministry of Finance is working toward quantifying how much, if at all, the government is benefiting from rising costs from inflation. The opposition has argued that inflation is boosting government revenue, and as a result, the government is benefiting from a perilous time for many average Bahamians. Halkita says it's not his view that the government benefits because it also pays higher prices for its own purchases. Halkita says that if data supports the opposition's claims, then the government should find a way to give the money back. And you heard about it yesterday on Morning Blend Business, as the insurance industry is very concerned that the government is preparing to move the burden of value-added tax costs on healthcare services for insured people from both the insured person and the insurance provider to solely the insured person. Marcus Bosland with the BIA warning that this move by the government could have myriad negative effects on the local healthcare industry. He said while on Morning Blend Business yesterday that while the cost of VAT on healthcare for insured people is currently shared based on the percentage split of costs in a particular insurance plan, if the government moves ahead with its plan come July, VAT costs will no longer be split but paid only by the insured person. He says this is a fairly big change for the health insurance industry and certainly will be for insured people seeking health care, especially on big-ticket procedures. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX. From Wednesday, your market movers, AML Foods Limited moving 1,250 shares, closing up 5 cents to $5.50. Bank of the Bahamas moving 2,150, unchanged to $2.51. Commonwealth Bank moving 25,000, up 9 cents to $3.10. Commonwealth Brewery moving 3,000, up 23 cents to $8.59. Consolidated Water up 7 cents to $2.69. And Emira Incorporated up 4 cents, closing at $10.97. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,489.26, up 15.12. That's your Market Watch. And that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. And we are back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, along with my guest today, Odaz Liburn, Dazzy. And we are talking about the future careers, future industries that are looking like they're going to be very hot. Already starting to see this now, and some of these are just blowing my mind. We were talking off air. I don't think we can talk about some of those things on air.
No.
But but it sounds like games, though. Like people are playing games. And recreation is important. But is this, I mean, do people take this seriously, or is it just all about fun? And is that where the human race is going, that my recreation time, I need to find a way to make money off it since I'm spending so much time doing that? Is that what's happening?
It's not even seen as a game versus, it's seen as real life now. Mm-hmm. Like okay, let me give an example. You know, when 2020 happened, there were so many persons who were unprepared. Do you know which generations kind of seamlessly kept on about their lives? The millennials and Gen Z, a lot of them. And you know why? Because this was nothing that they were not sure was not going to happen in their lifetimes. Mm-hmm. So in terms of, you know, the going online to doing meetings, they FaceTime their friends anyway. So Zoom is just like FaceTiming that is in a different form, maybe a little more formal, right? Mm-hmm. So there actually wasn't an adjustment for them. Mm-hmm. They like delivery at home anyway. So a lot of them just delivered their things at home, continued the way they did. So they were actually not as panicked as a lot of the, you know, maybe the older millennials, Gen X, you know, and beyond, because it's something that just was seen as like expected. And well, this isn't a bad thing. We're still a lot of them we're still making money. In fact, they made more money because now a lot of people were at home watching them And a lot of them, if that was their stream of income, it just amplified, right? So for a lot of them, there was just no disruption in life. They just kind of continued on.
So are we likely to see a lot of people who, other than, because you did mention some jobs, some real jobs in our universe that are, right, that don't.
All of our jobs are real jobs in the universe.
But are there going to be people who will not do anything in the real world, but will only be employed in the metaverse, and that will be their primary source of employment?
So you already have those people now. Some of them are Bahamians as well. You already have those people that exist today that they refuse to do the real life 3D thing. They are not going to do it. They're never going to do it.
And
right?
Does OnlyFans count as metaverse, or is that different?
Did you just say that?
Yeah, I did.
Kind of, sort of.
Okay.
Not really, but there's a different version, I'm sure. But yeah, you have persons now who they will just refuse, and then you have the ones who are going to do both, which I think that's where the majority of the students graduating today are going to fall under that category. They're going to have their off-life degree and career and persona, and then they're going to have their online, because it's already happening, right? And sometimes you see the worlds collide with disastrous results, right? I just saw on TikTok the last week that this young Bahamian girl, there were repercussions or an effect from her online life affecting her real life career, right? And so there's going to be,
Can you talk about on the air? Or
no, I cannot. Okay. Yeah, because she's a minor.
How bad though?
Very bad, right? And so what's happening is there's less separation now. I remember in the early days of social media, they talked about professionalism, right? And how to be professional online. Now, the people's avatars, and when I say that, meaning their online personas, are kind of just melting into who they are. So in today's online world, it's not your professional profile and then your personal life. It's almost impossible to separate it, because even if you just look at someone's profile and they have it linked to their other social media profiles, it may highlight more of an aspect of their personality, but it's still them. So for example, on LinkedIn, you may have a profile picture with a suit, right? And you may talk about what your career is and what your opinions are in the professional sphere that you're in. But then you may, on Instagram, you may highlight what you're doing as a hobby, travel, fitness, wellness. Then when you go on Reddit, you may just be arguing with people all day about these things that you do in your real life, right? And then on TikTok, you may be highlighting the fact that you think you're an amazing dancer, whether you are or not. And even if you aren't, please do not stop making videos. We enjoy them. Thank you for your service. But you may highlight that aspect of your personality as well. You may be showing yourself doing workouts. You may be showing yourself getting to be professional to go to your job. You're showing a different aspect. On YouTube, your personality there being highlighted may be you giving advice and you doing tutorials, right? So it's all you, but it's just different aspects of your personality are surfacing in different places online. So you don't put anything out there that you would be embarrassed to be broadcasted to persons in other spheres, right? You don't do that.
Oh, so what should Bahamian businesses be doing now, knowing that we are on the cusp of all of this, especially if you're a traditional business? Can you get into this? Can you benefit from this? What does that mean, or should you just stay in your lane?
So I don't want to give advice on what people should be doing, but I do want to say that keep an eye on everything that's going on around you. Don't just look at the newspapers, yes. Also look at what's happening in the online spaces and news outlets as well, but also go in the spaces that are not being broadcasted as mainstream news as well, because I believe in having that healthy balance and duality of both. So yes, you are going to listen to your mainstream outlets, but you're also going to go on your Discords. You're going to go on your Telegram groups. You're going to go also on Reddit. So keep an eye on as many things as you can, kind of straddling, because that's where we are now. I feel like we're in a straddle. So if you're a Bahamian business, I can't give you advice. Obviously, I can't tell you what to do, but just kind of keep an eye on everything that's going on, and then you can be more empowered to make your own decisions based on, what you see happening in the space that you think may be advantageous for you.
And you did mention some more traditional jobs that are, you talked about.
They're still viable.
Right.
Absolutely.
So being a
Media,
physical
therapist, journalism, mental health professional. That is going to be so needed. Attorneys, you're going to need specialists in the field that are already present. Like, for example, there's so many people getting injuries from being online, right? Carpal tunnel, they're having issues with their spine, their neck. There's blue light therapy now that comes up from persons, just watching too much of the screen. So all of the traditional fields are very necessary. Please go and do them.
Eye doctor is going to be.
Oh yeah. Oh no, that's a big thing.
So anything in the medical field.
Anything in the medical field going forward. We've seen the pandemics. We've seen what has happened in that space. No matter how you feel about it,
nursing might be the hottest field
absolutely
in the world.
In fact, I know, and she's listening this morning. Good morning. She's a nurse. She's training to be a nurse. She's a recent graduate. She's training to be a nurse, and she also participates in a lot of online forums as well, talking about the medical field. So duality and the parallel.
Is she in the metaverse?
She absolutely is. Good morning. So if you are from a family island and you do want a scholarship opportunity from Deltec Initiatives, I will definitely plug that again because it's a great starting point.
And when's the deadline again?
The deadline is the 30th, so you still have time. If you have a friend or family member that is in the family island, please encourage them to apply. And so you're going to go to Deltec, www.deltec, deltec.io. Scroll down and you will see the initiatives tab, and just go ahead and click that and you will see the application thereafter. So please go ahead and apply. And good luck to you.
It's a great opportunity.
It is
this text as we get ready to wrap up here. This person says, great show, Dazzy, the Demi. Glad to have you back today. Very new age informative. Dazzy, you saved. Traditional status quo confirming Dwight today. I love Dwight and listen to him daily, but I was about to switch him off like I did on Monday.
What?
You so saved Dwight today. Keep coming back as often as you can, Daz.
Now, see, what you're not going to do is insult Dwight, because it's because of him I'm here. And if he was not, we're on opposite.
Status quo confirming. Wow.
Dwight, they were being unnecessarily mean. But guess what? You don't
Maybe
have to.
They live in the metaverse.
You don't have to tear Dwight down to give me kudos. But
boy, I tell you,
he's open to these conversations. Come on, some people would not even have this conversation.
Exactly.
So
Dazzy. Thank you very much,
Dwight. I'm team you. I'll never go against you. You guys behave yourself.
Always
Thanks
a
for
pleasure.
inviting
Thank
me
you
back
so much.
today.
Thank you very much. A lot to think about. I need to figure out my role in the metaverse now.
Oh yeah. No, I know your role. So just,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, transition.
We'll
go ahead.
We'll talk
Look at seeing Morning Blend over there.
Oh, boy. Thank you again.
Yes.
All right. Folks, that's it for us today. I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9 in the real world for now. And stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
Wake up. It's a new day.